up, people? This is the new sportscast we got going on called the Dumb Jock Sportscast. We're missing one guy. His name is Fink. He's out to lunch today. We'll just say that. But we still got Big Money D, and we got
There
me.
you go.
So let's do it. Today we got a lot to talk about. We got transfers in the EPL. We got NHL news. We got trade deadline. We got the UFC. We got NFL. We got everything. So first off, let's get into the EPL transfers and news. Have you heard anything?
EPL news, basically overall, a lot of people possibly coming back, is switching the league, going from, Premier, out of Premier, going into, any league really, we got 8 days left in the transfer window, a lot still ready to happen, it's all coming down to money right now from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, like Coutinho's already at Aston Villa. I think that's going to be huge because I think they got another guy too, Digne or whatever, and
yeah,
I think they're looking pretty good. They already have a pretty good team. They might surprise a couple people. Maybe not because Coutinho's only on loan. So
yeah, exactly. But that's the thing is, a lot of teams too are looking at, are you just doing this, for the rest of the season? Like, are you doing a 6-month loan? Or are you taking on for next year as well? Like, are you doing an 18-month loan?
Yeah, I think they have some sort of like probably money to buy like 50 million or something crazy for Coutinho because that guy wasn't cheap for Liverpool to sell, right? But he hasn't quite worked out over there.
No, exactly. And that's the thing is, the teams that have the money to spend, how far are you going to spend, or how much are you going to spend, right?
Well, speaking of spending, teams with new money. Newcastle, they just got one guy. I thought they would be getting Coutinho and all these players. Maybe Aubameyang might go there. They got already Kieran Trippier. Newcastle, I'm talking about. Newcastle United, they have all the new oil money, so they could be looking to be big spenders. Maybe holding it back till the summer.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing Newcastle is the team, one of the teams at least to watch and look out for is, they're going to be spending money, give it another 2-3 days, like once, let this week finish up with, soccer and even throughout the week. But next weekend, watch, that's going to be where you're going to find all your teams are going to spend, or, teams that are loaded in, prospects or young kids, the loans are going to go flying out. Like, we're probably going to see, easily 100 transfers, probably, I'd say, over the weekend.
Yeah, I think so. Usually in January, it's hard to do sales and stuff, but I think maybe a lot of people need money, so they might be willing to sell because of the COVID and all that stuff. But who knows? It might even be harder to sell. I don't know. I'm not in.
It could be, with what's going on right now. Like you said, like if you're a team, bottom rank, let's say for the English Premier, right? Like let's take Norwich as an example, right?
Yeah.
You got a team that has Billy Gilmore, and that's it, really.
Yeah.
And you're going to have no money there. Like, you're not going to.
They have Max Aarons too.
Well, exactly, right. Like those are your two money players there, right there. Yeah. But don't expect to go out there and pull in like, pick a player, let's say Pogba, right? Like Pogba, they're talking about going back to Man U, or with him back in Man U, right? Like, but you're not going to get a player, even close to that talent down in Norwich because you don't have the money.
Yeah, like I think Norwich will probably be sellers because I think they're at the bottom. So I could see Max Aarons and Billy Gilmore heading somewhere else. That's what I think.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. They're going to get relegated at the end of the season. So for the time they do have, why have them drop back down to second tier leagues.
You remember Tottenham's player and Inter Milan's ex-players, Christian Eriksen, the guy that had the heart attack?
Yep.
He might be actually making a miraculous comeback to the Premier League.
I was actually going to touch base on that tonight. Yeah, because Inter Milan, they cut his contract back in December.
Yeah, because he wasn't fit enough to live anymore.
Yeah, he couldn't pass their physical. Then he went and got the physical, and the doctors are like, you can play, but no guarantees this won't happen. You drop, and next time you drop on the field, it could be that's it, lights out.
It could be fatal.
But he wants to keep trying it.
Dude, that's pretty good. I think it's pretty miraculous. If he comes back, that's awesome.
Oh,
That's a movie.
absolutely. He when he plays,
Uh,
he's one of the top players. Like
yeah.
absolutely, he can
Even
he
yeah,
does.
even as a Tottenham guy, and we're Arsenal men, you still got to give it up to the guy, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I take nothing away from him. For like you said, for him to want to come back and do this,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. It's awesome, man. So, all those transfers and maybe new moves for our team, a couple other teams.
Right.
The table might be switching heavily. So I'm gonna actually show the table. Let's talk about the table right now as the game just finished on the weekend. Well,
Yeah.
today, Saturday, and Sunday. So let's just check them out here, and we'll check the table out. Um, right here. So we got Man City obviously at the top, but they struggled against Southampton. They almost lost. Damn.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Liverpool,
Absolutely.
so we got Chelsea. They're sitting at 24 games played, right? And they
Right.
have 47 points. So if Arsenal would have won today, they would have had 38 points and they would have been 3 games behind. So 3 times 3 is 9. So 38 plus 9, they would have been like sitting there with Chelsea, like
Yeah.
above Chelsea. So they would have been third place if they could beat these little teams. Like they couldn't beat Burnley.
Well, that's
Like,
the thing, and
yeah,
I don't understand the thing with this team is we go
yeah,
out
like
there and what
get Burnley.
the beginning of this season, right? We got thrashed by Manchester City. We got thrashed
Yeah,
by Chelsea. We get thrashed
yeah,
by Liverpool. Then we
yeah,
come back and make some wins against, like Man U. We knock off Tottenham, Everton. We'll win
yeah.
those games, and then we get a stretch of, the Norwiches, the Burnleys, and
Dude,
we either lose them or we draw. And we don't even score. That's the kicker for me is we're not even scoring against the lower tier teams. Like it's not like
you
you're
know
putting Mendy
the
in net
last
for them.
the only game Burnley won was against Arsenal at the beginning of
Yeah,
the season.
and that's what I don't understand. Why we are struggling against like you said, the lower tiers. Why are we
Yeah,
struggling?
it's pathetic. It's really pathetic. Oh, I didn't realize Newcastle's looking at relegation, so they actually have to do some real transfer work
Oh yeah,
because they're
absolutely.
they're a
They're hanging on
billionaire
there.
boy. Yeah, they're. I can't believe that Norwich is above them. I thought Norwich was sitting at 18th. That's
They
crazy.
were at
But
one point, but I think Norwich has pulled off a couple of draws, and they've had the odd
yeah,
win here and there, so they're doing enough to kind of there, but don't expect that to be the
yeah,
results by the end of the year.
yeah, and like West Ham. So like I said, so Arsenal are sitting at 21 games played, right? Matches played
Mm,
here. So West Ham has two above them. They're only, I mean, two games at hand. So Arsenal has 2 games at hand on West Ham, and they're only 1 point behind in the standings. So, and then they're only 2 points behind Man United. So
right.
realistically, Arsenal they just have to win one more game, and they still got a game in hand. So we're still a good place, but I feel like we need a lot. We need a lot. We need all our players back for one. We're still missing like 9 or 10 players,
Yeah.
um, but I really think that we need to get players. So we're gonna jump into the Arsenal transfer market. What have you heard in the Arsenal transfer market situation?
I've been, following it all pretty much all throughout the weekend to see anything, especially after today's game, because what was it, Tommy Yasu got hurt, right? Like
Yeah,
we are down him. Well, not that we were down him, but everyone's asking why did you play him?
yeah,
And you have Rob Holding on the bench.
yeah,
He's dressed, but why are you not putting Holding in a healthy defenseman in there? Why are you
yeah,
playing hurt players? It's the same thing
yeah,
that happened last year when
yeah.
we got to this point. We had hurt defensemen or hurt midfielders, and
Dude,
Arteta's
because
throwing them in there because yes, they're your better players, but
yeah, he doesn't trust. It just shows me
he
that he
doesn't trust
doesn't
the young
trust.
guys
Yeah,
yet.
I know. No, not
Eh,
even the young guys. Just he
Well,
knows that we have no depth. We
well,
have
yeah,
nobody.
exactly.
Did you see
Fair
our
enough.
bench? Did you see our bench today's game?
Yeah,
I was like,
that's what
who the
I.
hell are all these guys? You know?
I'm looking at some of his names. I'm like, okay, where'd you all of a sudden pop up from? But
Yeah, like yeah. So what
but
transfers have you heard? So I know that Pablo Mari has gone to Udinese in Italy, and I know
Right.
Florian Balogun is gone, and Ainsley Niles is gone.
Well, I'm going to bring up the three biggest names that I've heard that we've been linked to. So obviously, Vlahovic is the big
Yeah,
one right now,
yeah,
and that I don't know where I stand on that because we offered what 75 million or something like that
yeah.
for him.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Now he's hasn't given us a yes or no, and I'm reading
yeah,
up more and more, especially today, that we've given him a deadline for like middle of this week of you're either
yeah,
playing, you want to play for us or you don't.
yeah.
And last I heard was he is set to wait this out to the summer of where he wants to go. And
Yeah,
he
he works
doesn't
for
even
Juventus.
necessarily want to play for us. He's thinking more going with Manchester City due to
Yeah.
the fact he wants to play Champion League soccer as well. He knows we're not going to be there this year.
Well, if I was Arsenal, I know that they're seriously in for Erling Haaland, but because him and Odegaard are best friends because they
Right,
play on the left
exactly.
wing.
And that's the thing. If that
Yeah,
75 mil, I could see
yeah,
early take or possibly,
yeah,
hey, I'll take that,
dude.
even if it's a
Another
six, eight.
another 25 mil more, and you can get him. You
Oh
know,
yeah, absolutely. And you can't say
wouldn't you
you
rather
can't
do
come up
that?
with that extra 25 million
Yeah,
anywhere else. You can't tell me you
yeah,
can't sell somebody or
yeah,
loan somebody out money
yeah.
wise and pick
Well,
up an extra 25 mil.
well, think about this. We loaned out 3 or 4 players, and we're talking about loaning out Eddie and Nketiah still,
Yeah,
and selling Aubameyang, and we're short players right now.
exactly. But
Yeah,
if we get that 25 million and we get Haaland and Odegaard,
yeah,
and we're starting to put the roster together that we
yeah,
need. It's not going to happen, necessarily in the next couple of weeks, but I say say this time next year, we're going to be top three
yeah.
easily if we get
Oh,
that big signing.
dude, I'll tell you this. This year, everybody's talking about being top four. I'm looking at top three. Chelsea aren't playing good. Um, United aren't playing good. Tottenham aren't playing good. West Ham, like we
Right.
have a chance to fit, and even Liverpool are struggling. We have a chance to
And
be 2 or 3. That's
right.
crazy. Remember last year we finished 10th. So so to
We knew
think
our
that we
season
can,
was over come
yeah,
this time last year.
yeah. So now we're all like, what the hell is this? Is this new to us? So it's
Well,
like, and like you said, if we get an Erling Haaland or a Dusan Vlahovic, like
yeah,
we could honestly, like, sky's the limit. And I'm a huge Aubameyang guy, and I heard he has heart problems from COVID, and that's why he's been bad
yeah,
because he can't run and stuff because his heart problem. And if they sell him, I love the guy, but hey, I'm ready to be better too.
exactly. Yeah, and you know what? He's the name I'm hearing going to Newcastle most likely. A, because of the money,
Or Barcelona.
or even Barcelona. But to bring us back, if we do not get, Distant,
Yeah,
the only other names really I'm seeing out there that we've been linked to, like as serious contenders, are Fragan from Juvie, Arthur Mello, right?
yeah. Arthur Melo. Yeah, that's honestly, and I heard a quiet rumor about Jonathan David too, but Arthur Melo, I don't know how I feel about him
Well,
actually.
the only thing with the Arthur Mello thing is that he doesn't seem to really want to come in here 100. They say he's saying, yes, I want to be an Arsenal, gunner,
Yeah,
but he wants a 6-month loan. Arsenal wants to give him the 18-month. They
yeah.
figure if we're going to get you, you're going to play with us for, the rest of this season and next season as well. We're not just renting you for this, top four push.
Yeah, yeah, because they don't. I don't like the whole rent a player thing either.
No.
So I
Most of these
understand that.
teams
Yeah,
want the 18 months from you. We're loaning, getting you for, the rest of this year, and we want to see what you can do next year. And, come, let's say at the 12 months, then we know,
yeah.
are you going to come back or let's get rid of you now, come next
And
January.
and another big thing is in Ligue 1 in France,
Mm.
Marseille has a transfer ban, so that means they can't buy Guendouzi and they can't buy the defender we got over there.
And that's what I was going to say is, you know, the one player, I think, because, you know, the main three areas that they're saying Arteta now has to help locate in the next week for us is we need to get definitely another striker of some sort.
Yeah.
We need to address the midfield 100%. And depending on how long our defense are injured for, we now have to tackle the defense.
Yeah,
so that's three. That's a triple transfer that Arsenal is looking at has basically a week to address.
Well, speaking of that, we actually are going after the replacement for the injured Tomaso. We're going for Lamptey from Brighton, and Tyreek Lamptey was actually one of our main targets before,
right?
But he was too expensive for us, you know. But I think he'd be a pretty good addition.
The other one I've heard also is Tyler Adams is a player that we should be watching as possibly coming on and to help the back end of our defense and everything like that. But as far as Arthur Melo goes, I'm hearing, I don't know if you've heard it, but have you heard Renato Sanchez?
I heard a little bit about Renato Sanchez.
I heard that he is our fallback if we don't get Houston.
I heard he actually really wants to go to Arsenal.
And he does, absolutely. Yeah. The thing is, let's just say, out of the three big names I've given you, let's say we get Sanchez.
Yeah.
And let's say, for the hell of it, let's say we get both of them. But let's say we get Sanchez and we get Melo. What does that mean for Xhaka and Party? Is that we're starting to give up on them, or are we getting them for depth?
No, I think we need midfield depth. I think Arthur Melo will be riding the bench on a loan a lot.
Think so?
I think so, because especially when we get all our people back. Well, it depends. Like we got guys like Chaka that red carded out. We got Party. He's made out of glass. He'll break again.
That's what I'm saying. So do you flip it around that, we're getting ready to get rid of Party and, see what we could possibly get. Like, don't be surprised if as much as Arteta seems to love him, Xhaka, don't be surprised to see him gone by the end of next week.
Yeah, because I think Arsenal always do a little bit of a surprising business. Like when we got Aubameyang, everybody was shocked. When we got Ozil, that shocked the world.
Yeah.
When we got Party, it shocked the world. I could see us doing something shocking and getting a big name like Erling Haaland. Like I won't even be. It's always the quiet. It's always like the one that barely has the news to it that we get. Like remember Nicolas Pepe?
Yeah.
Nobody. And all of a sudden we got him and we paid $72 million. It's like what?
Well, that was the same thing even with David Luiz, right? We never thought we were going to get Luiz.
Yeah,
I know Chelsea gave him to us for basically nothing.
Yeah, and it was like, and so like, I think the best kind of news moves in silence. So, hopefully, to me, I'd rather, instead of those forwards that you mentioned, I'd rather get Jonathan David, the nice Canadian boy, or that Swedish man from Real Sociedad, Isaac.
Well, here's one for you. I've heard that quite possibly if we don't get Houston. One big name that they're saying they're fascinated. They're thinking this is more going to be the summer than the end of this week. But Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, that's actually I forgot about the links for him and Oli Watkins. I think that would be because they're already Premier League ready.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be actually pretty good. I don't think Calvert-Lewin gets a fair shake at his club.
No, absolutely not. Playing for Everton, absolutely not. He doesn't.
Yeah, I think that'd be actually a better one, and it'd be. I don't know if it'd be cheaper because he's English, and English tax is crazy.
Demand the money, absolutely, but.
Yeah, but
it's definitely a move that if we have 75 to 100 million easily, we're willing to spend money on. I'm kind of with you that I'd rather let's get two mid-level or mid-tier players for that same price than just going all in on one superstar player minus talent.
Dude, let's be real with Mikel Arteta's transfers and Edu's transfers so far. At first, I remember everybody's like, "Who the hell? Why the hell are we getting Aaron Ramsdale when we got And then
Yeah,
now
we
it's
had
like,
Leno.
yeah, and now it's working out, and so it's like when the more he forms his team together to the team that he wants, the more it starts to like, okay, this is okay. I get it a little bit now,
Yeah.
But at the same time, let me tell you this: we just tied Burnley.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, the thing too is, as far as, let's say, like you said, you bring up Ramsdale.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard, but they're saying that Leno's out in the next 24 to 48 hours because we've gone out and signed this goalie from New England Galaxy. What's his name? Matt Turner.
Yeah. So Matt Turner is actually, I heard that too, and I heard that Bernd Leno is actually going to Newcastle.
Yeah, and again, they're
and that's
we were
the
just
move
saying, they're fighting to stay out of that relegation, group.
And let me be honest, I think Bernd Leno is a good shot stopper. It's terrible. He's just terrible with He's a good keeper. He was like one of the best keepers the last couple of years. But
oh yeah, absolutely. I was ecstatic when he was there for us. When we brought him on to be our starter, absolutely. That was one of the best moves I think we made.
And then now it's like he just doesn't.
He's flat-footed. I find his reaction is delayed by half a second.
No, he's a good shot stopper, but that's it.
Yeah, if you come on it, if you ankle that ball, like you come in on an ankle, he has no idea where to go, like where he should be facing. He's just hoping to God you're going to shoot that straight at him.
See, I'm a huge Emi Martinez fan. That guy won us the FA Cup alone, basically, and then he plays for Argentina's national team, wins them the cup, the Copa America, in penalties. So he saves the most penalties out of any goalie, and that's my only thing that I have against Mikel Arteta, that he made a mistake on that. That's what I think.
I think the other mistake he's done is Gunduzi. Sorry. I know you're not a big believer in him, but just from what I've heard heard and seen and read up on, is they're saying that he's matured a lot, being on loan right now, and they're saying that he should definitely come back if Arsenal's still looking for a leader at that time.
Hey, well, like I just told you, he has to come back now at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get to see him. Yeah, but let's move on to Manchester United. Boo. But Paul Pogba is back actually from injury. So Paul Pogba said they took a picture. We're with the winning team again, but they didn't look too good. I'll be honest with you.
No.
No.
There is too much wrong with Man U.
Yeah.
To just say we need a transfer. Like, it is not just based down to the talent level. There is a lot in that locker room and office and so forth that.
Hey, let's just put it this way. You got Paul Pogba and Cristiano Ronaldo. You shouldn't have this many problems.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah. No,
you shouldn't, but you are. And that's the question of why are you all of a sudden struggling? And, they got off to a hot start.
Okay, hold on. Before we get to what's wrong with Manchester United, because that's a topic. Well, let's talk about their transfers first. So their transfers coming in, they might be getting Declan Rice, from West Ham, and they're actually battling Arsenal for Brighton's Lamptey. So they might be getting a couple players, and they might be getting Aston Villa's McGuinn, that Irish dude.
Right.
Yeah. So they're looking busy.
They're going to be busy because they're at this. I don't see Man U. I see Man U. We were talking about top 4, top 6 finishes just before we went on here. I have Man U honestly as borderline top 6. Like, that's where I see them falling. They could very well miss out altogether and being a top 6 finish. And I don't think it's these transfers. Let's say they go out. I don't know. Let's just say because they've got the money. Obviously, it's Man U, right?
Yeah.
Even they sign 1 to 3 players, I don't think that's enough to save your season. I think there is something in there that it's not just transfer based. And I know this is another topic we'll get into in a second, but that's what's frustrating is it's kind of like Chelsea. You have the teams that have 200, 300 million to spend on transfers and free agents, and you still can't get the wins.
Yeah. Yeah, you know that's what's wrong with the EPL is when 2005 hit, it was teams like Chelsea and Man City that ruined the whole transfer market, and they could just buy $500 million worth of players whenever they wanted, and
Yeah.
that's the only thing. That's the knock I have against Chelsea and Man City winning. It's just because it doesn't mean anything. You bought
No,
it, you know?
you basically, yeah, you buy it. It's like any sport where you have and that's what they've always brought up. Every other major sports league has a salary cap to keep
Yeah,
it a relatively competitive field. Why
yeah,
don't they soccer, especially English Premier? Why do you not have a salary cap that you don't have? A $500 team and a team like Norwich who has maybe 25 million. Like
yeah. It
how
does.
it
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Yeah, so another transfer that they have is Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona for
Okay,
Anthony Martial. But the thing is, they want to put Martial on loan, but they want them to pay his wages, which is £250,000 per week, which
for
comes
weird.
out to £13 million a year,
Yep,
and they want them to pay a transfer fee. That's impossible for that guy, you know.
and that's
Anthony, yeah,
why
yeah,
like yes, transfers, you got to give a little to get a little, but when you're saying pay his transfer fee, pay his weekly salary,
yeah,
pay
yeah.
pay, and you'll get this in return, but then you start to weigh the two of them and you're like, okay, I just got robbed out of this transfer deal.
Yeah, it's like, dude, we're giving you a player. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. We're like give a little.
Yeah, like what the hell? It's like, come on, and I think they might get this guy, but this guy's not really a big name. The Leeds youngster, Danny Cresswell. I don't know much about him, but I'm sure he's an attractive star because
Yeah, and that's
it's
what you like.
Manchester United.
Yeah, and that's what I
Yeah,
mean. You'll see over, especially the top four to top six, like, throw us in there with, Tottenham in it. You're going to see come the weekend, you're going to see a whole bunch of, 18, 19-year-old, who the hell
yeah,
are these people names? And, it's all
yeah,
going to be depth signing or,
yeah.
to get ready for loans and everything. But,
Oh,
it's going to be people you don't know. And, it's
yeah,
just,
and down here, actually, we have a team called River Plate. If people don't know that team, but
right.
River Plate has a player named Julian Alvarez,
Okay.
and Manchester United wanted to sign him, but Pep Guardiola got a hold of him,
Yep.
and now Man City are taking him from him. And Julian Alvarez, we watch him play here. They won the Copa. They won the League Cup here, River
Right.
Plate with these, and he's a baller. So, man, if Manchester United actually lost out to Man City, that's a big blow again.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I mean. The top, top four, top six teams, which are always teams we always know, us,
Yeah,
Man U, Chelsea, blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
Um, it's always a bidding war with them. It's
yeah.
always,
Well,
I
I
want
think
that player. No,
it
I'll outbid you by, 50 million or whatever.
yeah. I remember back in the day, Arsenal always lost out to Man United because Man United were
Yep,
the money team, and
exactly. Now
now
it's,
it's just Chelsea and Man City.
yeah,
They just buy whoever they want. You
yeah,
know? Yeah.
exactly. Like,
And the last player that I heard of is the Wolves midfielder Ruben Neves.
okay, yep.
Yeah, he's going to United, and I think it's probably a lock. I think I can't. I think till they'll get him. I don't know why. I just think they will. I
This
think
is
he's
Man
easy for
U.
them. Yeah, it's Man U.
It's Man
Yeah,
U.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's Man U. Yeah. Speaking of Man U, anyways, let's move off that off their transfer because they anything can happen. Then they can buy
Oh,
anybody.
yeah, absolutely.
They can buy us tomorrow, and we can just be their ball boys. You know. But Cristiano Ronaldo interview with Sky Sports. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said something like, "I everybody thinks I came back to Man United to retire and to take it easy." He's like, "But I came to show everybody a winning mentality. I came here to work hard. I came here to succeed.
Mhm.
I didn't come here to finish sixth or seventh." He's like, "I came here to finish first.
Yeah.
and that's the type of thing that I love about that guy. I don't care what anybody says about him. He's the best competitor in soccer. He always has to win. He's not there to make friends. He's not there to be like, "Hey, buddy, how's your day?" He's like, motherfucker, try harder. You know.
Well, yeah,
And that,
exactly.
yeah, he's a real
Like,
sports guy, man.
and they bring up that interview, and now it's been blown into this whole thing of was he out of line? Because now I'm from what I've read and seen,
Yeah,
they're saying it wasn't well received by the locker room. Like he pissed off a good chunk of the team. But you know what? Sorry, you've got
that's right,
Cristiano friggin' Ronaldo in your locker room telling you, basically
dude.
we are playing like shit, and
Yeah.
you're gonna get your back up and be like, I
So
got yelled
yeah.
at. You
So
have one of
Pierre.
the greatest soccer players. Basically, he wasn't a
Yeah.
dick about it. He could have
No.
said it so much differently, but he
Yeah.
just basically came out and said, "I'm here to win." And you know
Yeah.
what?
I'm
You,
not here to make friends.
you
Yeah.
know, are you
Yeah.
now? My question to you on regards to that interview. Let's take Messi. Let's take De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Pick another superstar, Haaland.
Yeah.
If that interview goes with any of them the exact same way, is it being blown out of proportion as well, or is it seen
Uh,
totally? Oh, it's okay. It
de-
was said by them.
definitely not with Messi. Messi's the golden boy.
That's what I'm
Messi.
saying. Yeah.
Everybody loves Messi. Messi. Let's put it this way: Ronaldo went to the best league in the world at 36 years old.
Yep.
I mean, Ronaldo went to the best league in the world at 36 years
Yep.
old. Messi went to a team that isn't even top 5 league in the world.
No. Exactly.
So like you go to a like that looks like he should have just went to the MLS, Messi, if he's just gonna retire.
Yep.
At PS, it's like he claims he wants to win a Champions League, and that's why you go to that team. And on paper, damn, PSG looks like they should win, but I don't think they're that good, And it's
Right.
like Ronaldo is actually scoring and doing everything, but his team is not there, it's very hard to it's very hard because especially at the beginning of the season, Ronaldo came just guns blazing, He
Well, that's
starts
what I mean.
scoring.
When he signed, and he signed with Man U and everything.
Yeah,
His first or second game he had multi-goal games,
yeah,
and everyone's like,
yeah.
"There's the Ronaldo we all love and know."
Yeah, and it's like, and it's in the hardest league in the world, and
Yeah.
he's making it look like cakewalk. It's like that's what I love about the guy, man. And like Ronaldo, it's like, it's really like that guy works hard for everything. I'm not saying Messi doesn't work hard, but everybody. This is why all the superstar players say that they pick Messi over Ronaldo because Messi was born with a gift. Me
Yep.
personally, I admire people that work hard for stuff, not just
Absolutely.
born with something. That's
You
what
know,
I feel.
and it's
And yeah,
always going to be that you're going to either find the people who side with Messi or the people who side Ronaldo, and unfortunately, more
yeah,
people hate Ronaldo than Messi.
yeah, yeah. And it's isn't it weird that people just can't appreciate both of these guys?
No, and that's the thing. It's like you've got to like one or the other.
Yeah, it's like me with Ovechkin and Crosby. No joking. So after that, we actually tried to conduct a starting 11, an ultimate dream team starting 11. So my dream team starting 11. You want to just talk about yours first,
Now
or
we
do you want me?
talking about this was our dream team, right?
Yeah, this is our starting 11.
All right, so I went like I told you, I went the basic
Yeah,
4-3-3.
yeah,
So I didn't go traditional like you went, but I just grouped them. So my
yeah,
starting four attackers, I've got Messi, obviously.
yeah,
I've got Helen. You've got to have some youth,
yeah,
a guy who can do
yeah.
something there.
Yeah, I didn't pick him.
Then
Yeah.
I've got I've got Harry Kane,
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
my
Harry
fourth,
Kane.
I've got Harry Kane in there, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna probably grill me for this one, but you know what? I need some veteranship there, so I got Oliver Giroud there.
Damn.
I
Damn.
need him
You
there.
got Harry Kane and Oliver Giroud. Damn.
I gotta have the veterans there. I got
That's
three
okay.
oldies and a
Hey,
youngin.
hey, it's your starting 11, not mine.
Yeah, I've got them there. But I think
Yeah.
the way that those the way that Messi can play, Kane can play.
Yeah.
They're dangerous. They're not the
Yeah.
spring chickens they were 5 years ago. But you can't, like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Kane's last game. when they made, or sorry, it was a comeback.
Yeah.
What was Kane doing there? He was up there in front of the net, and he ended up getting a goal.
But did you see today's game?
And then let's move on to my midfielders. Obviously, I got to, he's not here. I'll give him a little bit of respect, but, I got to go Chelsea. I got to take Conte.
Yeah.
I got to go from City. I got to take De Bruyne.
Yeah, you have
and
to.
then I'll go back to Man U, and, he's back. I got to go with Pogba.
Yeah, that's it. You like
those three. I don't think you find it better, starting mid three if that was your lineup. I think that's where you're set solidly.
How about defense?
Defense wise, I kind of weighed everybody out. Defense. Defense is totally different for soccer than any other sport. Yeah. It's not all assists or goals and everything. It's shut down basically. Yeah. I do like this first pick I had. I was not too aware of him at the beginning of the season. I really didn't follow him, but I've been watching more and more. But what about Luke Shaw?
Luke Shaw is an underrated guy. I'd say he's an unsung. Like
he's a decent left back.
Yeah,
and I think he's going to be. Good.
Yeah, it's like does he stand up to a guy like Alphonso Davies, in my opinion?
Right, exactly.
Hey, we'll wait for mine. Yeah,
right. And then as far as my other two, Marquinhos, obviously, and I gotta get a gunner in here at some point. So obviously, I went with Tierney.
Yeah.
I gotta go with him. I gotta bring. I can't say I'm an Arsenal fan and not have a single Arsenal player on my team. But
who's your keeper?
From Munich, Manuel.
Yeah,
Manuel Neuer.
That's a nice one. That's actually, it's not bad. It's a little
not great, but I think that's a team that could be a top 6. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's like top 6 for sure. With that team, they should be champions. But here, let's get into my team. So
let's get into yours.
Yeah, so I got starting up top. We got Mr. Kylian Mbappe, bop bop bop, and then I got Mo Salah on the wing, which is crazy,
right?
And I got Messi on the wing. But then I got Ronaldo playing just behind Mbappe as a secondary forward.
Yeah.
And then I got De Bruyne and Conte. And then on the left back, I got Alphonso Davies, Virgil van Dijk, Sergio Ramos, because Ramos is a beast. I love the way he plays. I think this team that I have, a lot of soft players in it, except for Conte and Ramos. And you need some dirt. And Van Dijk. And Walker. Another hard-nosed guy. He's a dirty guy. I like that.
See, I almost I'll stop you there for one quick second. See, before Tierney, I had Ramos on there, and I took him out for Tierney. But my other thing is I noticed, and I don't know where you see him on that, because I noticed, for the most part, we kind of looked at the same players, but one player I don't see either of us were interested in or are pretty high on for our teams is, for defense at least, where's Ruben Diaz?
Oh, actually, I'll tell you this. Ruben Diaz, I had him there instead of Sergio Ramos.
Oh, did you?
But
okay.
It was a tough pick for me because I was like, and I had Cancelo on for Alphonso Davies. I'm like, I can't just have all Man City players at the back.
No, exactly. I just took an entire team. But, that's not my dream team. I'm just taking that team, defense. There we go.
I'm like, people are going to start thinking I'm a man, because then I'd have like 5 Man City players on it, So I was like, I can't do that. So,
no, exactly.
So I had to go a little bit versatile with Ramos, and I was like, oh, Ramos is still around, even though he might not be the best at his age, but hey, man, I love the guy. I think
exactly. No disrespect to him at all, and he's what? He's going to be playing up in Qatar this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing him, one more run, see what he can do.
And then I got Emi Martinez at goal. which is I think he's the best keeper. I just think he plays on a bad team. If you look at all his penalties he saves and the
Yep.
way he intimidates players, he's Arsenal's biggest mistake. And I think, like, if you look at it like this, they sold Martinez to keep Leno just to bench him a half season later. That's
Yeah.
a dumb business. That's a bad business. I don't
Oh,
care.
absolutely.
And it's like,
I mean,
yeah.
to a degree, it worked out for Leno, right?
Yeah, well, it worked out for Ramsdale because Ramsdale got his childhood dream move.
Well, that too, yeah.
And it's like, and it's beautiful because it's like now we're all happy. I think Emi Martinez would have been happier to stay. That's just me and I think we would have been better because that guy oozes passion. But so does Ramsdale, and I got Pep Guardiola as my coach because that's it.
So I didn't put I didn't put a coach in there, but just off the top of my head, if I had to use someone, I'd put Klopp in there. Klopp.
Yeah, because Pep knows how to handle superstars. He's been handling superstars.
Yeah, he won't put up with too much nonsense.
And that's like a thing that I always have against Pep is that he always is on these teams with all these. He gets all the money in the world, and he gets so it's. I'm always like, oh, he has it easy. It's an easy way to be the best. And it's like, but really, to manage a guy like Messi and all these guys, it must be pretty hard because
absolutely,
it can't be easy all the time,
No, absolutely, it's not.
And so, let's go here. Let's say,
what's wrong with Man U?
Yeah, what's wrong with Manchester United? What's wrong? We already touched on it a little bit, but let's touch on it a lot of it.
I see it comes down to three things. Yeah. Obviously, first thing has got to be Cristiano Ronaldo. He's not happy. You've got to make your superstars happy, and you can't show favoritism and be like, oh, it's Ronaldo. Of course, he gets what Ronaldo wants and everything like that, because that's exactly why everyone hates him, right? But it's like I said, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. You've got to make him happy. If he's not happy, that team, he's not going to lead. He's not going to want to play, and that team falls apart.
Well, no, what I think it comes down to is the team has been injured, but I think that their management has just been in shambles. Like, it shows, obviously, they switched coaches and all that stuff, but it's like, I don't think this new guy understands, like, it's like,
what team he's coaching or what he's doing?
Yeah, it's like, dude, and they're missing Pogba, and I just think that their players are, I think their players are overrated, and they're because they're at United.
Well, what the other point I see is, Sancho.
Yeah.
Right? Is he worth that $75 million they spent on him?
Hell no. So far, hell no.
This was one of the great things that they went out to do. That was going to, have them challenge for the top again. Get Sancho out there, and I'm the same way. I don't see anything spectacular tonight. He was worth this money.
What did they finish last year? Second or third or something?
Yeah.
And so second or third, right? And they get Ronaldo for free, and they get Jadon Sancho, plus they get Varane.
Yep.
So it's like right there. I was like, oh shit, they're gonna win the league. And then
exactly.
And then they just now
like we said, let's throw Pogba now that he's back in there. This is a team that should be winning the league, and they're hanging on for dear life to make sure they even finish in the chance of being a Champions or Premier League next year, right?
Yeah,
not Premier League, but Champions, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Europa League.
Yeah, thank you.
That's exactly it, man. And saying that, let's move on to our top 4 and top 6 predictions, man.
Yep.
So looking at the table now, we'll bring the table back up. Who do you think is gonna finish at top of the table? Obviously, City. But let's just say this: like, who do you think is gonna finish at the top of the table, and who do you think is gonna finish at the top 6 spot?
So the top 4, what I've got looking at that I see as the top 4 finish by the end of say end of year, everything done. I've got obviously, like you said, City. I've got Liverpool up there, I've got to go
Yeah.
Chelsea, and I've got to go Arsenal. Those are my top four. Obviously, I say looking at what we have left schedule wise, we have the easiest path to finish the top four. So
I'll say this. I'm going to say this, actually. I'm going to say Man City,
right,
either Liverpool or Arsenal.
right,
Then, so that's top three right there because they're 2 and 3.
yep,
And then, I hate to say it, but imagine Tottenham finishes up there.
yeah.
Damn. But it'll be, it could be, but it's probably going to be Chelsea. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and
Yeah.
so that bumps us over to the top six, and that's who I've got in fifth is Tottenham. I don't think they're going to be strong enough to catch, to stay above or catch up to us, or
Yeah.
I say we finish above them.
Yeah.
Now, as far as last spot in sixth, I've been going back and forth, so I could very well flip flop in a couple of weeks. But right now, I've got Man U hanging on to that sixth spot. But if I had to pick a sleeper team that could sneak up by end of the season and take that sixth spot, I've got the Wolves.
Yeah, damn the Wolves. Well,
I
I'll say this. I'll say it's either I think it's between Tottenham and Man United for sixth spot.
think so.
I think so because I think Chelsea will squeeze in fourth. Actually, I think fifth or sixth will be Tottenham and Man United. I can't see them both finishing. One of them finishing out. But
Right.
hey, but you never know. Arsenal could crap the bed the rest of the season too.
No, absolutely. If we keep playing like the way we played today, well, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves right now.
Yeah, it's like that's the problem. That's the problem with hope, man. It kills you sometimes. It kills you. It kills you. Oh man, yeah. So speaking, I don't know if you know. So there's this guy. There's this channel. It's like the biggest fan channel in soccer, right?
Right.
It's called AFTV, Arsenal
AFT.
Fan.
Yep. Yep.
So Mr. DT, he's like the big guy there. He's
Yep.
actually been jailed. This guy's been jailed. Do you know what he did?
Oh, I heard about that. He got his sentence. So he went from 1 year to 3 years now
Yeah.
for the
Yes.
domestic, the kidnapping and abuse.
Yeah, dude. He went to the hotel his ex-girlfriend was staying at,
Yep.
and he went in the room, assaulted her verbally, assaulted the date, and then took pictures of his ex-girlfriend naked in front of the guy.
Yeah.
And then
Yep. And put the
then
pictures
kidnapped.
up. Yeah.
That's absolutely insane. That's insane.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I heard about it. They're like just briefly, like they're like AFTV, Mister, DT. I'm like, what? And then I'm like watching it and hearing about it. I'm like, are you serious? Like this happens?
Yeah, because I watch those guys all the time, man. And I was like, because I know that he took some months off. I didn't know he's fighting the law or whatever. And Robbie since then came out and said he apologizes and DT has no spot on his channel ever again because
Yep. Yeah,
and
they
it's
said
like,
because he said to them, like the Mr. DT, he's like, I apologize for what I did. I was with this girl for 8 years, and in 90 minutes, because I had a mental breakdown, that's going to scar her for life.
yeah,
And he's like, I'll see you guys back in a few years, because, like you said, the judge extends his sentence to 2 more years.
yeah,
And yeah, they come out and say, well, he's got no place on our platform. Well,
yeah,
no
yeah.
shit.
It's like, dude, those aren't light crimes. Those are like off the rocker crimes. Like,
No,
it's
exactly, and that's the thing is, you do that, you do that, here in states, whatever, you're gonna hear, whooped by somebody in jail.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That's what I mean. I just did not expect that or thought that happened. Still, like, I'm like,
yeah, dude. I couldn't even imagine stalking your ex-girlfriend and going to the hotel, beating them up, and then ripping her clothes off, and then taking naked pictures of her.
yeah,
That's
like really, like that's the extreme, or the length of this you had to go to, like, for what? Like, what point did you prove out of this?
Because in December he took the month off and he got sentenced. So DT came back on Arsenal Fan TV January 1st in the show, and Robbie said he didn't know the extent to what he did or anything. He's like, and if I would have known, I wouldn't have had him on January 1st. He's like, but we didn't know that it was that serious or what happened,
Right,
So
exactly.
it's crazy, man. It's crazy because that guy was always like the guy that you always thought was a nutcase, anyways,
Right,
and he
and then
turned out
he turns out to be one.
yeah, and it's crazy. So speaking of nutcases, how about this North London Derby?
I knew you were going into that with this.
Yeah. So what do you think? I think there's a rule that was put in place by the league, and Arsenal just used it. It's not. I don't think it's their fault because I think any team would do it.
Right.
Like Jamie Carragher, all the teams. I think Liverpool and a couple other teams have done it already. And just like Micah Richards said, yeah, they just used that's the law of the league. You're allowed to do it. He's like, he's like, as soon as Arsenal does something, it gets put under a magnifying glass, and everybody hates it, no matter no matter what they do. They're the most hated team. Did
Oh,
you?
yeah.
And yeah,
That's exactly it. She is,
yeah,
like you said, it's Arsenal, and it was, it's the Northern Derby, so
yeah,
obviously it's going to be already under, like you said, a magnifying glass,
yeah. And it's a
and
big match.
because Arsenal basically, couldn't play. They like
Yeah, it's
I get it. Be
yeah,
the rule there and blah blah blah. Basically, it's not an excuse, and basically that's how Tottenham viewed it. Is you're just using the injuries and the transfers and
dude.
loans and all that as the
They
reason
still,
you can't play. But
they still don't have enough players though.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Is take the loans, take the transfers, take the COVID, take all the reasons your players can't come and play. And
yeah,
what do you want us to do? Put the only possibly
yeah.
11 players we have healthy on the field, and
They want Mikel
put
Arteta to
friggin'
suit up again.
put friggin' Ramsdale as a striker. Is that what you want? Like, is that going to make you happy? Like,
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's just like it's crazy to me. I think it's nonsense. It's like guys like Jamie Carragher and stuff. It's like Liverpool did the same thing. They canceled the game because of it. It's like you can't talk about it. It's like they only want to talk negative because it's Arsenal. And I got another thing about that Arsenal business. It's like, do the refs have a vendetta against Arsenal because that Westwood guy today, or whatever his name is,
mhm.
he did the studs on Kieran Tierney. Stepped on. If that was Granit Xhaka, that's a
Yep,
red card.
that's a
That's
red
a red.
card. He's out. Yep.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, sorry, he's not Xhaka. He gets to stay in. And
Yeah, he gets a
that's
yellow or he gets nothing at all.
yeah. It was pathetic. And then not only that, after that, he threw his elbow into Gabriel Magalhaes or whatever. I
Yep.
can't say his last name. An elbow in his face, and he didn't get a second yellow. Not only that's another red card. Get the
Yeah,
fuck
it's basically
yeah,
a red card right there.
yeah,
Basically walk up and throw an elbow into somebody's face. Yeah,
yeah. And that should have been two
it,
yellows, and
it's
we should have been yeah,
it's a bush league move.
yeah. And it's like, and that's what I mean. Arsenal don't get a fair shake with that. We always get soft, like Party's yellow. I mean, a red card last game that was soft,
Yeah,
and it's like we always get the harsh calls or bad calls against us. I'm not saying it's an excuse because we shouldn't depend on those to go our way to win. We should already be up winning, but
no,
it
absolutely.
doesn't help. Yeah, it doesn't help. It ruins your mood and stuff, right?
Well, yeah,
Um,
it
yeah,
definitely does a number mentality wise on you as a player. Are we ever going to get a call thrown our way? Or
yeah,
refs are just out to get us, and everyone says you can't blame the refs and everything like that. But you know what? When you see those kinds of you know clips and stuff of hey, that and then anybody could you don't even have to be a soccer fan. You can just be like, you can't do that. You can't elbow another player in the face.
yeah. It's just a sports fan. You can be like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
This is UFC. But you want to switch sports now?
Yeah, wherever you want to go to with this, go ahead. We can go hockey, we can go football. Where do you want to go with this one?
We'll go football here. So Dallas Cowboys are the football's Toronto Maple Leafs because they have this team all the time, this hype around them maybe sometimes, and then the first round they never. The last matter of fact, we're going to talk about this soon. They only have 3 playoff wins in the last 25 years,
Yeah.
which is crazy. So the thing is crazy. Trent Dilfer has 5 wins, right?
Yep.
Andrew Luck has 4 wins. Mark Sanchez has 4 wins. Colin Kaepernick has 4 wins in the last 5 years. Nick Foyle, 4 wins. Josh Allen, 3 wins. Cowboys as a team, 3 wins. That's pathetic. Being America's team.
Yep.
You know?
You nailed it right there on the head. To be basically like we say, the Maple Leafs are the face of the NHL team wise. Yeah. Everyone's going to say, oh, Dallas isn't the face. That was 10, 15 years ago when Irvin and Aikman was there. But, they still, you have any Dallas Cowboy fan out there that said they're America's team still.
Yeah.
But, yeah, absolutely. You can't take that and run with it and have 3 wins in the playoffs in 25 years. You can't.
Dude, that's hard. That's
crazy.
You
think about that. At least for me, that's last time Dallas won a playoff game, I wasn't even in high school. I was in middle school still, so I was coming up on 12. And I grew up a Dallas Cowboy fan, so I remember that last win.
That's what I mean. It's hard, man. So another funny thing is so the Browns, there's this guy named Joe Thomas from there. Do you know him?
Yep, Joe Thomas, Big Joe, yep.
Yeah, so he tweeted at the Steelers, congratulations on your participation trophy.
Yep.
And then Brett Kissel said, did you even get one of those? So what do you think? Do you think anybody on the Browns should be saying anything about any
Absolutely
playoffs?
Not. Absolutely not.
It's embarrassing, right?
It is, and absolutely, they, like they said, Kessel's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He could have been like, "You got one of these?"
Yeah, I can't hear you.
But absolutely, I get what I get it all in the good chirping and fun and all that. Like I get what Joe Thomas was doing, absolutely, but. You played for one of the most championship, deprived teams. You never made the playoffs when you played for them. You can't say anything. You really can.
Yeah, Pittsburgh is like one of the most winning teams in the playoffs.
Exactly, and everyone's going to say, "Oh, well, look at them. They beat Pittsburgh in the playoffs last year, and they beat them up this year." You beat them this year, but you played against a noodle-armed Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
And you know what? You didn't make the playoffs this year. You went from AFC Championship last year to not even making the playoffs this year.
It's it's absolutely insane. It's like, and everybody, I'm not a big football guy, as you know, but everybody blamed Odell Beckham Jr. And now the guy is tearing it up. But I mean,
exactly, right?
So
I just don't.
Yeah,
I just think there's certain fan bases you should just whether it be player, fan, coach, whatever. Until you win a championship, you don't say anything. Like that's like the Arizona Coyotes telling the Penguins or the Maple Leafs, you didn't make the playoffs. And so they've gone, have you ever made the playoffs?
Yeah. So another kind of Cinderella story was. Back in the day, Aaron Rodgers was picked 2nd overall by the Green Bay Packers because his childhood team, the 49ers, passed on him in the draft to pick him over 1st overall. And his comments at the draft was, I'm going to make them regret they didn't pick me. And so far, he is 0-4 in the playoffs. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Or no? It sucks, huh?
It definitely sucks. Absolutely. I'm not the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan nor supporter of him. I'll give credit where credit's due. Yes, he's won a Super Bowl. Yes, he's got stats. He's always a top 3 to 5 quarterback every year or MVP worthy. Absolutely. You throw him in the same class as Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Absolutely, he's up there.
So you think so? Top 5 quarterbacks of all time. Do you think he's he's up there. Jerry Garcia, Aikman. You think he's up there? Brady, Dan Marino. You think he passes any of these guys?
Aaron Rodgers?
Tony Montana. I mean, not Tony Montana.
Tony Montana. Here we go.
Tony Montana. Joe Montana.
Joe Montana. There you go. I'd say Rodgers wise, yes, absolutely. He's still up there. If you're breaking down, a Mount Rushmore or all-time greatest quarterbacks, as much as I hate to say it, absolutely, you've got to still have Rodgers in there. Green Bay had Brett Favre for so many years, and everyone was like, "Who's this Aaron Rodgers guy? Is he going to be able to do the same stuff that Brett Favre could do?" And he's done it just as well, if not better. So I think absolutely he's got to be up there.
You think he's above these guys? Any of those guys?
All time, I would say he's above some of them. Absolutely. Like I take Rodgers over Montana. I take him over Steve Young. I take him over, compare him to Tom Brady. I don't think you can go wrong with either or.
I wouldn't take him over Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. I wouldn't take him over those two for sure.
No, but that's what I mean. He could be Rodgers falls anywhere from the all-time from top 3 to top 5. I'd say.
I wouldn't take him over Joe Montana. Joe Montana played back when you had to throw it into people's hands for real.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Stick them. Not just that thing that just catches it for you. But that's here nor there. I guess you can't really blame anybody for the inventiveness of the game, I guess. But
you can, but it's going to definitely weigh a lot on your head, or your mind. You just kind of are like, why can I not beat this one friggin' team come to playoffs?
So what you think he's better than Finkel?
Than Finkel? yeah.
Hey, Finkel.
Absolutely. Laces out, Dan.
Yeah, laces out, Dan. Yeah, how about this? So NFL playoffs so far. What's your take on it? What's the big stories of it?
I'm not, okay. I know you're not the big football guy. I mean, I'll give you credit. You tried, Joe. You try. Overall, as far as the playoffs go, definitely it's been entertaining. I think it's been one of the more entertaining years for playoffs this year. There were a few teams who didn't deserve to be there. Yeah, you got in. Yeah, you can say whoever got in deserved to be there. But, to me, based off last week, Philadelphia had no business being there, getting thrashed by Tampa Bay. And, yeah, people will say, well, it's Tom Brady, blah, blah, blah. Pittsburgh, same thing. You got in there based off the results of a, Monday night game.
Yeah.
And, you had friggin' 40-year-old Ben Roethlisberger with no arm trying to take down Kansas City, or sorry, not Kansas. Yeah, Kansas City, yeah. It wasn't going to happen. Like they even made notes of it. Ben Roethlisberger said, we really don't deserve to be here. We're going to probably lose the game, but, things happen. And absolutely, I've talked to a few guys who follow football, and they said, it's football. So pretty much besides, World Cup and stuff, anything can happen. Upsets happen because it's a one-game thing. It's not baseball. It's not hockey where, it's a best of 3 or best of 5 or best of 7. It's you go out there 60 minutes and anything happens, One play, one injury makes a break or can change the game.
Just and, like soccer, yes. World Cup soccer, same shit.
Exactly, and that's how I view it. Because who cares what happens in over the span of 7 games? It's a 50-50. You throw that into simulators, you're going to get 100 times. You're going to get 100 times different result probably of each game.
That's what I think about it. You could argue the fact for the best of 7 series that it's 50-50, and you can say about the one game, it's a one-off game. They could all have an off day, or the best player, the quarterback, could be feeling screwed up. You don't know what's going on in somebody's life. So
exactly.
I understand. It should be like I like the way soccer does it in the Champions League, where they do the goals and they do the plus minus.
Right, the goal differential and all that. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a cool thing. But as we speak, the Bucks are out. So that's crazy. And it's 7-7 in the Chiefs and Bills game.
Yeah, I'm just poking my head up every little while as I'm watching the Bills game right now. But yeah, like I mean, that's what I mean. The past, like for last night, like I told you last night, you know, I don't know how much research you threw together on football, but you know, last night both number one seed Tennessee Titans, Green Bay Packers, both knocked out, you know, in the same round since 1970. You
Yeah,
know.
it's crazy. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say about the
You know,
what was I
it
gonna say
happens.
about
It absolutely happens. You know, like my buddy Larry's a huge Tennessee Titans fan, and he was just pissed completely. You know, devastated that again, Titans have for the last couple of years been one or two steps away, and you get Cincinnati Bengals of all teams to at home, and you're like, all right, this is going to be an easy win, or should be an easy win for us, and you lost. And same as with the Green Bay game, my dad, huge Packers fan, and I even told him, I told Fink, I said, Packers were my team to go to the Super Bowl and play Buffalo. And you know what? Watching the Packers, they were getting hot. They were getting the players back.
Yeah.
And you know what? I watched the Green Bay game. First drive, they go down the field, score a touchdown, and then I told Frank, 3 points in 3 quarters after that. Yeah, you can say a blocked field goal, the blocked punt, everything. But Green Bay's defense gave San Francisco just as a hard time with that game. So I don't buy into the whole. It was San Francisco's defense, because you know what? Up until that block punt that led to the touchdown, San Fran, you had what? 3 points?
Dude,
Yeah, you had 3 points going into the fourth quarter, like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And yeah, you scored 10 minutes, and that's all that matters is those 10 points in those last 5 minutes. But, that game could have gone either way. So, props to San Francisco that they just wanted a tad more.
Lose by a block punt touchdown.
Well, that's what I mean, right? Like it's heartbreaking, and it's frustrating for me being a Saints fan, and
pick 7.
Exactly. Being a Saints fan, I've gone through so many friggin' ways to lose playoff games. I've had Hail Marys on the last play of the game, burn us. I've had picks, no calls. I've seen it, I've heard it, I've felt it. So hell, I've cried. I'll be a man in the middle here. I've cried over it.
Yeah,
but
dude, Tom Brady made people feel like that a lot, though.
Exactly, it's shit, man. It's absolutely a shitty feeling, but it's the best part of the playoffs too. I find is the fact that anybody can knock anybody off, and that's what I mean. I think these overall these playoffs have been one of the best ones I've seen in a while. Seeing the upsets. And, it's also fun for people who are just getting into the sport. Not everyone wants to see the exact same teams every year go to the playoffs. Nobody wants to keep seeing Tom Brady win a Super Bowl or be in a Super Bowl. Not everyone wants to see Green Bay. Not everyone wants to see Kansas City. So, you know what? Whether it be Buffalo or Kansas City, who wins tonight?
I want to see the Cowboys do a little bit better, though.
Well, yeah, exactly. They like to see them get past the first round at least. But, absolutely.
All the teams named after cats, besides being named after cats, like the Bengals, the Panthers, the Jaguars, they've all never won anything.
Never made it to the Super Bowl. No, they have made the Super Bowl. Sorry, Carolina's made the Super Bowl, but they've never won it.
Yeah, so they never won it. Bengals has the only chance as Team Cats. Do you think they have a legitimate
Absolutely
chance?
Not. I'll put that out there right now on the record. Absolutely, I don't even give them a chance. That's where I was going with the whole Buffalo Buffalo Kansas City game tonight. Definitely would love to. I definitely would love to see Buffalo go all the way. I took them as my team to win the entire thing. I know I didn't go through my predictions last week, but I had Buffalo beating Green Bay in the Super Bowl. Obviously, not going to happen now, but I'm rooting for Buffalo, and you know what? If they beat Kansas City tonight, I don't think there's a team left in the playoffs now that can stop Buffalo. I don't think Cincinnati can. I don't think the Rams can, and I don't think San Francisco could beat Buffalo. I think Buffalo or Kansas City Whoever wins
Yeah.
tonight wins the Super Bowl.
And you don't think the Rams have a chance?
No.
Isn't that the team that Odell went to?
Yep. And you know what? The sad thing is they were. I was
How
watching
about
that just be.
Antonio Brown? Did he make it there or no? Or was it too
No,
late?
no. After he had his little meltdown, he never signed with anyone after that.
Oh, dude, I thought the whole thing was to go to the Rams.
Yeah, he was going to go. Yeah, that's where he wanted to go. But, the Rams are like, no, we're not getting into that.
Oh, dude, I thought he went, and I was like,
No,
oh shit.
they probably thought, well, we already got Beckham. That's one headache as it is.
So let me get this out of the way then, because I forgot about that guy, Antonio Brown.
Yes.
Do you think that had anything to do with? Do you think he could have helped the Buccaneers win today?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As much as I'm not a Buccaneers fan, being a Saints fan, rivals and all that. I won't take away from what he can do when he wants to do it. That's the thing. It's when he wants to do it or when he wants to play. But absolutely, yes, it's Tom Brady, and Tom Brady can do this, and Tom Brady can do that. But that's the thing. He can only do so much being Tom Brady.
Yeah. Do you think this is Tom Brady's last year then? Okay. What happened? What happened to this guy, eh?
Having a party over here. Hang on.
He's having a party. This guy's party boy, Montana. He's Tony Montana.
Getting some shots in there and everything, right?
No. Yeah, do you think Tom Brady, this is the final year, or do you think he does another chapter?
Going into that, the whole Tom Brady thing, that was something that actually I read or saw this morning on the sports channels. They were saying Tom Brady is not guaranteeing he's coming back next year, win or lose. Yeah. And it was kind of the same thing Aaron Rodgers said yesterday night when they interviewed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers was basically, I'm not going to be here to do a rebuild, and there's contracts up and so forth. And Tom Brady said the same thing basically before the game. He's like, the perfect ending would be to win the Super Bowl and go from there. But whether what happens, with that, where am I going with this? Sorry, Tom. He was basically saying that. Win or lose, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's got to weigh out the options. He's got Gisele Bundchen and he's got the kids and everything. He's got to weigh out, does his body want to do this one more time? He said he wants to play till 40. He's 45. He's going to be 45 next year. And personally, I don't think he's coming back. I think, he's got 7 Super Bowl wins. Obviously, he's going to go down as probably the greatest quarterback to play the game. Yeah, as much as that bugs me to say, because I hate the guy.
To go to a team like Tampa Bay and win it, that's crazy to me, I think.
Well, that's the thing, his first year there too, right? It was like he never lost a step from playing with New England, right? He just went from one team into another and still won championships. Everyone's thought, you're going to Tampa Bay, you're not going to win there. And he went there and won. He's basically pissed off, I'm going to do it. I'll do what I want to do, basically.
That's incredible. Do you think he's the greatest champion in all sports?
No.
Who's the greatest champion?
Michael Jordan.
You think he's the greatest? Because I guess, but you got to look at it like this. He did it with the same team, man. This guy didn't.
Yeah, but he won 6 of his 7 championships with the same team.
Yeah.
If Jordan wins a championship with, say, the Wizards, does it make that much of a difference?
He didn't make the playoffs. That dude did not make the playoffs when he went there. Bo Jackson, someone said.
Yeah, exactly, right? So,
dude, I think Tom Brady, he has to be the single-handedly the best. I think there's what he's done and how he's dominated. He's Michael Jordan. Even Wayne Gretzky's not up there with those two guys. Wayne Gretzky's a dominant player, but not a dominant champion.
I mean, as far as Tom Brady, comparing him to Wayne Gretzky, I'll give you credit, absolutely, as much as I love Wayne Gretzky, all the Canadian, blah, 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 set the records, blah, blah, blah. Definitely Tom Brady, better championship, absolutely. But I still have to stick with the fact that I view Michael Jordan best championship any league, anytime. I mean, like that's like saying who like would you say Messi or Ronaldo or Maradona or any of the soccer greats, are they less of a champion than Tom Brady?
Oh, for
Different
sure.
sport, absolutely, because nobody's going to go out there and win. Let's not even compare it to let's take the World Cup as an example. No one's going to win 8 World Cups.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's hard to with soccer. It's hard because
think of who you're playing elite talent, World Cup wise, elite.
I think Ronaldo's the best champion in soccer because he's won it with multiple teams. Like he's won it with Real Madrid, Manchester United, Porto, and he's won it with Juventus. Plus, he's won the European Cup with Portugal. So that's 5 different leagues, and that's a great champion in my eyes. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's hard to argue against. It's like, and whereas Messi only won with a stacked team like Barcelona his whole career. So I don't know. Like that's what I'm saying. It's hard, but like a guy like Gretzky, in hockey, I would say Mark Messier is probably the champion in hockey, maybe.
Yeah, okay, I see where you're going. Where you're viewing it as. Yeah, I can see that.
Because he's won with New York Rangers, and obviously, like as much as Wayne Gretzky was the goal guy and the assist guy for the Oiler days,
yeah,
Mark Messier was the guy.
You know? Yeah, he was the guy.
Yeah, and he won it with or without him, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so it's hard to, because even though Mark Messier, like he's not on my greatest players list, he's not there. Like he's not on my top 5, but
not many people put Messier out there.
No, it's like, but like to call him the greatest champion is weird to not.
But not put him up as a top 5, absolutely.
Isn't it strange how like stuff like that works? Because it's like if you look at stats, like what kind of stats we looking at? Are we just looking at player stats or championship stats?
Well, that's how people always view it when you go, who's your top 5? They're like, some will base it all, well, he has this record, this record, this record. And then some people will say, well, let's just use Tom Brady. Brady's got, 7 Super Bowl wins.
Yeah.
So he's got to be the greatest. But like you said, then, it's kind of, let's take it back to soccer for a second and, Messi and Ronaldo,
Yeah.
Won 5 different titles.
Yeah.
Other one hasn't, but are they any less different or any less because one has that and one doesn't?
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. So let's get into the NHL standings right now.
Yep.
I'm going to actually share the screen again, and I'm going to share it so we can see the standings as they sit today. So NHL standings right here. So we got to allow it. And then here it is. So in the Atlantic Division, we're just going to go to the top 4 teams in each division, okay?
Right.
So you see 41 games played. That's Florida Panthers. 43 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. 38 for Boston and Toronto Maple Leafs. But Toronto has how many points? Toronto has 53 points. So they could, if they just win their next games, they'll be first of the division. But do you think that there'll be much change in that top 4 or not really?
That screen's a little for me. Hang on. Panthers, Lightning, Maple Leafs, and Bruins. Top 4?
Yeah.
No, because I know from overall standings wise, the Red Wings for at least there are like at least I think 10 points out of a spot. So
8 points,
There are 8 points, I don't see I see the Wings maybe adding on a late push, but I don't think it's enough to knock any of those top 4 out of there. So if anyone pushes to possibly change, like let's just say standing wise in there, I say the only one that moves is maybe the Lightning past the Panthers, but that's it. I don't think the Leafs move anywhere, and I don't think the Bruins move anywhere.
Well, I think the Lightning have 43 games played. The Leafs has 38, and they only need like 2 games to be above them.
But it's the Leafs.
Yeah. But they won yesterday, which was when they went up 3-1. I was like, oh damn!
Yeah, that's what we said. That dreaded 3-1, and I wanted to bring that up for a quick minute. Actually, I saw that. I didn't bring that up as a point in us. in our topics we're going to do this week. Why do the Leafs have this almost curse ever since that game with Boston? Why does whether it be a 3-1 actual lead in a series or even in one game, do you guys choke? What is it about 3-1?
Isn't it crazy? It's just like like the 3-1 and the 2-1 lead are like the scariest leads to me.
That's what I don't understand. Like I get 2-1 because you're like, okay, do we push for another goal or do we sit back and play defense? But then then the attacking team is just go, hit, shoot, and one goal and you're in a tied game. But 3-1, you can play either way. You can keep attacking or you can play very defensive minded, and if you give up a goal, you're still a goal ahead.
That's what you just said, though. You just said defensive minded, which when we take the break, when we take the foot off the brake, we don't play defense because our players aren't strong enough for defense.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. But when it's in two different leagues, though, that's what I'm saying. Like if it's 3-1, I don't mind you guys sitting back there because I think you're able to give up that one goal and it not be a big deal. But if you play defensively too much when you're 2-1, like I say, you're now sitting at a tie game and it's anybody's hockey game all over again now. I'm willing to give up that one goal and end a 3-2 game. A game 3-2 with the win, then go 2-2 and hope to God that we score or we go to a shootout and win or take the tie, right? But it just boggles me that like you said, that 3-1 lead seems to be like a curse to them. And I just noticed it's ever since I could be wrong or maybe it's just me, but it just seems that since that Boston game, that 3-1 has followed you.
No, they have that Arsenal curse when it's like an easy way to get above somebody. And to succeed, they just can't do it. They can't. Yeah. They're like, they play up till they can almost succeed. And they're like, oh, shit, too much pressure. And they back off because they don't want to win. It's like they don't want to. It's like something tells them they can't win or something. It's weird. It's like, just be good enough. Someone's saying in their ear. That's all.
Just don't suck.
Yeah, just don't suck. And it's like, but don't be too good either. If you're too good, that sucks too. And it's like, so to me, the Atlantic Division will finish the Panthers number 1, the Leafs second, Lightning third, and then the Bruins. I think the Bruins are going to be sellers. I think people will be leaving that team. That's what I think. So hold on. So let's move on to the Metropolitan Division. Rangers, Hurricanes, Penguins, Capitals. Top 4. And again, there's 8 points separating the 4th.
I don't think that. See, the whole thing with the Eastern Conference, I think those playoff teams are set. Like I think people will move up and down, but I don't think anyone's going to challenge to change the standing of those 8 teams that will make it or whatever it is. I can't even remember anymore now. It changes every year, it seems. But do
you think the Rangers are just all smoke, or do you think they have a legitimate chance?
I think they've got a legit chance. They everyone got worried because Hendrik Lundqvist, right? The injury and them leaving and all that. Everyone thought then they bring in the 2 young goalies, with Igor Shrikston and Alexander Georgiev, I believe his last name is.
Panarin's a gem, huh?
You got Panarin there. I believe Chris Kreider's still there, right? So they got the right. I think they got the right mix of players because they still they got Alex.
Don't you wonder how they got that draft pick? That's crazy.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. With the Frenchie there,
Alex Lafreniere or something.
Yeah, exactly. However you want to pronounce it, but you got John Ray Miller, and you got a whole bunch of youth there, and that's what I think a lot of people were worried about was, is this Ranger team going to compete or are they rebuilding? And they still could be competing.
So speaking on that, you already know my stance on Ovechkin. I think he's the best. But I don't see his team moving from the 4th seed. I don't think his team's strong enough, to be honest. I don't see them doing anything in the playoffs either, even though I would want him to win the cup over the Leafs. I want to see Ovechkin win another cup.
No, not happening. No,
It's not happening though.
it's not. It's not. It's not.
He
You
needs,
had
he needs to
your
leave
one
the
run
team.
with Ovechkin, and that's it. He's done.
He needs to leave the team, man. The team is shit around him. That team's almost never been good in my eyes. And same with Crosby's team. No, they don't have a chance. And the Hurricanes, you never even know with these guys. These guys, you know what I mean? They could be the last seed in the playoffs, and they go to the cup. It's just like, who knows with the Hurricanes? They're like anything can happen with those guys. But I think the standings will stay the same too. I think actually, maybe the Hurricanes will be number one.
I think that depending what happens, I know we'll touch probably a little bit quickly near the end of this on deadlines and all that trades. But I think depending on what Columbus does, I think they could very well make a couple of key pickups, and they could very well, if Washington isn't careful, they could find themselves on the way out.
Yeah, they're 10 points out though.
They're 10 points out, but hey, that's 5 games. Look at Philadelphia Flyers now, man. They've lost 11 games straight. Anyone goes on a bad stretch at this point now, you're costing yourself a playoff spot, maybe.
He's not going to pull the Lakers on us, Ovechkin. I'll tell you that. So let's move to the Central Division. We got the Colorado Avalanche.
Yep.
We got the Nashville Predators. We got the St. Louis Blues. And then we got the Minnesota Wild. Then we got your team, the Dallas Stars. They're actually 9 points out. Do you think they have a chance of making the playoffs? It's hard, eh?
If we make the playoffs, it's not going to be from finishing, top 4 in this division. It's going to be a wild card. I think we're only 2 or 3 points out of one of the wild card spots. But yeah, definitely we will not be winning any of those top 4 spots. Unless something miraculous happens. I mean, I don't see Colorado, as much as I hate them, I don't see them going on like I just said, I don't see them going on a 6-7 games, losing streak. Same with Nashville, even St. Louis. Out of those four, I would say the Blues are the most likely to drop.
Are you worried about the Jets? They're only 2 points away, and they're They have 1 game in hand.
No, because I don't believe in the Jets. I don't think they're as strong as the standings show they are.
Do you think? Okay, so speaking of the Jets, do you think that they screwed up when they let Patrick Laine down and they screwed around with him?
I think the trade was bad for both sides, for them and Columbus. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think anyone won out of that. I think they both lost in that trade.
Yeah, we both clearly know Patrick Laine did not want to go to Columbus or nothing.
No, he did not want to go there. And for what they got in return with Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Dubois, yeah.
He's nothing special.
No, that's what I mean.
He's not doing anything. He's not.
Dude, remember this. I'll tell you this. Remember this. Matthews and Laine were head to head. Imagine trading Matthews for Dubois. I'd be as a Leaf fan, I'd lose my shit. I'd be like, are you guys retarded?
Right.
And it's like, and just to think, Laine, he's gone for nothing. Like, not nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing, but Laine was one of the best snipers. Like, he was one of the best goal getters. What happened? You guys ruined him. Something happened to the guy.
Absolutely. I just don't think he ever matured enough to be the stud prospect he was coming out of it. I think playing in Winnipeg, not with the greatest team out there, and kind of being thrown into to almost be like, some players can do it, some of them can't. Like Ovechkin and Crosby, they got drafted, and they carried their teams. And some players like, Patrick Laine, they're talented, absolutely. I won't take away anything from them, but they can't do it by themselves, and I think that's what Laine is. And it's the same thing with Austin Matthews. I don't know where I rank him right now. Is he a player that can carry that team by himself, or will he always need someone with him?
He's still the best goal scorer since 2016 in the whole league.
Well, yeah, you give him that, but is he going to be put him on another team? Would he be able to do the same stuff?
I think so. I think he'll score goals no matter what. I just don't think he's the guy. Matthews isn't the guy like Sundin was.
Right.
Like,
That's what I mean, right? Like
kinda,
he's not a
yeah,
face of
but
the franchise.
but you know, you can't tell me that. Like, just think, Matthews isn't the captain. Tavares is. Tavares is not a face of a franchise either in my eyes. He's like, when you think of Leafs, you don't go, oh, John Tavares. You go Matthews Marner. You know, then
Yeah,
Tavares maybe. You know, and it's like Tavares should never have been captain. I think that was a big mistake. But hey, that's what it is. You can't go back on that.
it
But
was probably one of his clauses for signing.
yeah,
I'll come there if I get to be captain, right? That's how
yeah.
most of these guys usually are now.
And I think Matthews is like Sundin in a way where it's like where he lets his game speak for it. He doesn't go and show emotion or like talk to the media or talk trash. He just goes and scores a goal and shuts everybody up.
Right.
But I don't think Matthews is dominating as Sundin. Sundin is like his presence on the ice. He's a big guy. Like, people don't mess with him, And it's like Matthews, he's weak in the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's just like he's okay, but it's like I think Sundin was just way better. I think once Sundin left, the whole franchise it's just lost now. It's just nobody knows what's going on.
No,
Since
exactly.
But let's move to the Pacific Division. So we got the Golden Knights sitting pretty at the top. We got the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, the Mighty Duck guy. We got LA Kings. We got the Sharks. And then sitting at at sixth is your little boy McJesus. No, but let's say so. The Sharks are fourth. They have 40. So I know I just made that joke, but they're only 4 points away from the Sharks. So that
Right.
and 5 points away from the Kings. So and the Kings aren't that good. They could go on a losing streak any time of the day.
So are you asking me, is McDavid going to be able to make a push and get those Oilers in there? No.
Yeah. Do you think
No.
he's gonna?
I think
Right?
I don't even think it comes down to McDavid. I think what it comes down to is that dreadful Edmonton goaltending. If they don't get that figured out or fixed by the deadline, they've got no chance. McDavid could score 3 goals a game, 5 assists, throw Leon Draisaitl in there and do the same thing, and it still wouldn't be good enough. That it's a goalie issue in Edmonton. So unless that gets addressed, no, Edmonton's sitting on the bench.
Do you think that when the Leafs got rid of Frederik Andersen, do you think the Oilers should have went for him?
Absolutely, they should have at least looked at that as an option.
Because when they took the Flames goalie, I thought it was quite odd because,
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly.
Yeah. And it's like and just like I'll tell you this, be honest, when we started playing Jack Campbell at first, I was in shock. I was just like, why the hell are we playing this guy?
So was I, because I don't know if you know this, but he was actually our was our original draft pick. Like, he came from Dallas. He went from Dallas to LA, and he was horrible in LA. And I'm like, okay, I don't care that we got rid of him. Like, I was fine losing him. And then I watched him in Toronto last year. I'm like, where did this all of a sudden come from? Like,
Yeah. It's like that's what when we were talking last time about pressure in Toronto. I think it works for you and against you sometimes. Just like Jack Campbell, it works for him. But
this guy's got the record for what? Best record to start a season or career.
Yeah. So it's absolutely nuts, man. So with this division, I'll tell you. So Golden Knights are sitting at 50 points. This division, anything could happen, I think.
Absolutely. It's definitely up there. It's probably the most likely you'll see somebody fall out completely and someone who's not in there right now make it.
Yeah. Because it's
like you said, it could be the King. It could be the Kings. It could, I think you're fine with the Ducks and Knights making it, absolutely. But after those two, I think anybody can make it in that division.
Would you rather see the Flames and the Oilers make it over the Sharks and the Kings, or it doesn't matter?
I would not want to see the Flames in there, period. I wouldn't. If I had to pick a Canadian team between the two, I'd be okay with Edmonton. But I would,
because as a Canadian, you still want McDavid to do all right,
no, but I mean, overall, if I had to bump one of those two American teams out, I'd rather see the Kings get knocked out than the Sharks. They've always had a spot for the Sharks, regardless. They're kind of like the Cleveland Browns of the NHL. They have the talent to get there most years, and they just fall apart and near the
end. Yeah, so this is my favorite part because this is the where I rub it in your face a little bit part. But we're gonna go on to the NHL stats.
Oh, here we go.
So here, let's go to the stats here. NHL stats. So we already know. Oh, who's that pretty boy sitting at the top? But we got this guy, right?
Right.
So we're gonna go to the points. So we got Leon Draisaitl and Alex Ovechkin sitting at 58 in points. So, do you think any of those, or Connor McDavid? Do you think any of those three are gonna win it? Probably, right?
Oh, probably. Somebody will catch up and pass for sure. You know.
Yeah. One of those three, I think, are a lock. I don't think Huberdeau or Kadri or Stamkos or Rantanen or Kaprizov. I don't think any of these guys will catch up.
None of those are good enough to keep going the way they're going. You know, Kadri is. Yeah. I find Kadri is getting the empty netters or the breakaways. You know, but he's not putting that in.
And he's playing with Rantanen and McKinnon.
Well, that's the thing. That's the only issue that, you know, the teams like the Tampa Bays and the Colorados is that, you know, there's so many people who are all scoring and everything. And, you know, everyone puts up, you know, in a 7-goal game, you think, oh, shit, somebody got 6 points. No, I look at those games, I see, okay, he got 2 points out of 7 goals, or that person got 8 points. I'm like, you should be getting like 4 points out of 7 goals. Like, nobody's doing that. But if you you take a Crosby or an Ovechkin, when they had those types of games, they were putting in 5 points or 6 points on those games. I just don't see them the same way as when they were playing.
Yeah, it's true because they were so dominant, Ovechkin and Crosby. It's like when they play.
Well, Crosby is still.
Yeah. Well, Ovechkin's sitting at 58 points.
I already said this week, how's Ovechkin done opposed to Crosby, who's been coming alive this week for me?
Yeah, but hey, look who's at the top again in goals.
We'll see when Crosby's possibly hoisting a cup.
Oh, okay. Here, let me find Crosby. Oh, he's at 7 goals this year, and he just scored 3 in a game.
There you go. I'm telling you, he's heating up now. He's heating up.
I think it's too late, man. I'm not going to be a Crosby hater, but I think it might be too late to catch the title. But I see this going. I know Matthews is sitting at only 25 right now, but I'll tell you, he can score a hat trick any time of the day, and he can have 6 games in a row where he scores 2 goals a game. So it's like, even though he hasn't scored the last 2 games since Matthews went on that 9-game winning goal streak. I think he could still catch Ovechkin, but I think Ovechkin's just too good at scoring goals. He's the only guy on the team that scores. So, you know, I don't think there's much. I don't know. That's where it comes down. I think the problem with Ovechkin's team is they rely on him too much. He's just there to. It's hard, but assist, like we said, we got all these guys. Huberdeau, we got Adam Fox, we got Connor McDavid, we got Nazem Kadri, and we got Victor Hedman, and then we got Nat McKinnon, which are all pretty good. So I think points will probably go to. It could go to any of those 3, but I think goals will go to Ovechkin. And I think most assists could go to Connor McDavid.
I think McDavid, he always usually ends up at the top for the assists. So I think, McDavid will be there.
With the goalies are kind of hard for me to stat out.
Goalies can be hit or miss because you can get a goalie who wins, 6, 7 in a row, or 5 shutouts in 7 games. So it's kind of hard to predict them.
Yeah. So ultimate NHL team.
I was just going to go to you on that. I'll start off with mine. So obviously it was just a starting 5. So I went center-wise. Probably the only surprise for my team, or for probably anybody really who knows hockey. center-wise, because we were going natural base position, Dylan Larkin from Detroit.
Damn. You went there, huh?
I went there. You know, I know, and a lot of people would be like, "You didn't go."
Hey,
you know,
dude.
you could go anywhere with any center possibly playing right now. You went Larkin. I like the kid. I
like
like him.
Larkin too.
I've
Larkin's
always
good.
liked him since he came into the league. You know, fantasy football. I take him. I just like the kid. I think he does a lot of good things, and if I was drafting or starting a team up, to have a young center, I don't think I'd go wrong with taking him.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's good too. I think that guy's actually really good. I remember when he first came in the league, I was like, when I seen the Red Wings going like last place and stuff, I couldn't help but feel bad, for this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're pushing for a playoff. They might not happen this year. Give it next year or the following year. But I think he's going to be that. He's going to be the young Yzerman type player coming up. I think he's going to lead that team for next 5-6 years.
Let's see your wings now.
My wings, I went. He's not here, but he'd be bragging. Gabriel, I went. Landeskog, and you got guys talented. That's all I can say about him. Guys, out there putting points up almost nightly.
You like that guy, eh?
Not really. Not really. I'll give him credit that he's good, but and I take him because what he can do. But he's not a favorite of mine. But if I want stats or I want a player that who they can get the puck to and he can put it in nightly, I'll take him. On the right, I'll take Kaprizov.
Yeah. Oh, you like that guy too. I know you've been talking highly about that guy.
Kaprizov, yep.
He's a young boy too, huh?
He's a young European. Yep. He's starting to come on. He's a rookie of the year last year.
Yeah.
So I think we're only. I think when I watch him play, I think Pavel Bure.
That's it. Yeah, Pavel Bure. Yeah,
I think he's got the same skill set or mindset, stick skills. Put it that way.
Next week we're doing our favorite NHL players. Not the best NHL players, our favorite NHL players.
Our favorites, all right.
Yeah. Okay.
That'd be a great topic to go through next week.
Yeah. So let's hear.
And then I'll finish off with my D and my goalies. I think we agreed on one defenseman, Victor Hedman.
Yeah,
probably best, if not one of the best defensemen out there right now. Yeah, and then
he might catch a Nick Lidstrom status.
There you go. And then other G-man would be from Dallas. I have to have a star, just like I had to have a gunner. Miro Heiskanen. I had to have him there. I think
he's actually good. I forgot about him, actually, to be honest with
you. I've always liked the offensive defenseman. I like a defenseman who can be physical, but they're up there getting 40, 50 points a season too.
I think that's the new NHL, man. That's
you've got to be able to hit and block shots, but you also got to be able to score or at least make a play and get an assist there. I think long gone are the days of like the Zubov, the Hatchers, the Chelioses where it's hit. Yeah. Chara even, right? I think those years are gone now. I don't think we're going to see that. And it was back to back when it was the enforcers, right? You always had an enforcer demon. Those are gone now. It's not old school NHL anymore, where everyone wanted the defenseman who got 300 penalty minutes. Like no, those are gone now. You have to be able to.
Or you have the Wade Belak that just goes.
Yeah, you are a fighter, right? Like, you hit 17, I'm gonna clock you one.
Yeah. I think that's a beautiful part of the game, though, to have that.
Absolutely, you have to have a defenseman, or it doesn't even have to be a defenseman. It could be a forward. It can be any position. If there's somebody who's willing to jump in, and if somebody runs over, Tyler Seguin, Nathan McKinnon, Austin Matthews, you've got to have somebody in there to back you up.
Don't you think that's the knock on the NHL right now? Is that it's too
soft?
Yeah, too soft, right?
I think it's going too soft. Yeah. I honestly, and that's what one of our closing topics I was going to say tonight was I think both the NFL and NHL have started going too soft.
Yeah. So who's your keepers?
Was that? Oh, my keepers. Tristan Jerry and Justin Saros from Nashville.
Damn, yeah, those are not bad, man. Shit, I didn't pick any of them, but those aren't the goalies. The goalies, no, the goalies were it was difficult for me. You know, it was like
Well,
because
it's because
they
any
changed.
goalie can be hot or cold. You can have a goalie go off, right?
Yeah, so I guess I'll run down mine real quick too. So we got can you see it or no? Yeah, you can, eh?
I
So
can't
we got
really see that, but just read it off. I don't know who you mean.
So at center, I got none other than Austin Matthews. I think he's
of course
the
you
best.
got to have Matthews there.
Yeah, I think he's the best goal scorer in the game. I think he's the best. He's best since 2016. And on the left wing, the best left wing in the world, Alex Ovechkin. You know, he does it from the wing, bro. He does it from the wing. You know how hard it is to be the best goal scorer from the wing and not the center? That's what I'm saying. And then on the right, again, this is the guy that's missing his team, Mikko Rantanen. I like him. I think he's really good. And then again, the guy that's missing from his team at defense, Cale Makar, and then Hedman, and then and goal. I got the best backup. Your words, not mine. The best backup in the league, Jack Campbell as secondary, and the starting goalie, I got Lindgren. So
there you go.
So that's my team. Is it the team that I would want to pick? Probably not, but I just think it's the best team.
It's a decent team. Yeah, it's a decent. You got a lot of firepower there. It seems to you went more offensive, playmakers.
Yeah, I went just let's get some goals, baby.
There you go. We don't need to play defense.
Yeah, we don't need. Yeah, nobody's playing defense because offense wins games.
Everybody get up there and just rush the net.
Yeah, just take your shots. Look at you guys with all the abs. Hey, this guy. We just popped this little cherry going on now.
There you go.
But so the other day, let's move on from the top teams there. Chara playing for the team that drafted him, where it all began at the beginning with the New York Islanders. The Leafs just beat them though, and they couldn't do a comeback like every other team does against Leafs. Yeah,
right.
But do you consider Chara a legend, overrated, or average?
Honestly, I'd have to say before he kept playing, like when he was with Boston and everything like that.
Should have called it quits, huh?
And that exactly, yeah. It should have been done there. Moving on. No, I think now he's playing too much. For what purpose? I don't understand the reasoning to keep playing.
Do you think the same thing against Chris Chelios then?
No, because Chelios could still play. I don't think Chara can play now. I just see him out there as an oversized pylon.
Well, he takes up 19 minutes of the game, and
right. But for what purpose? You're not score. You're not. I'm not. He's never been a goal scorer or a point getter, really. But why give him 19 minutes a game when you could get a younger defenseman out there and put up those points?
Yeah. I think that too. I think he probably should have called it quits, but
when he was done with Boston, that's where I see him. I say legend with Boston, but now it's becoming too much.
But my admiration is still there for him because I think to carry on with something you love is pretty good. It's passionate. But hold on for a second. I forgot beer in the freezer. Oh, shit. That shit's going to explode. Yeah, but you're right. You're absolutely right. He should have definitely called it quits with Boston because I think as much as people as guys get they don't want to let go of it, or he should have switched leagues to Europe.
Yeah, but absolutely gone overseas, absolutely. Like most of them are doing now. Yeah, but they don't want to play or have reduced time or anything. Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think about Jaromir Jagr then? Do you think he tarnished his legacy, or do you think he's like a weird story because he was still killing it when he was 50?
Exactly. The only thing is, where he is now, right? If he doesn't play, that team or that league folds, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
I know why, or not personally, but I see why. I'll put it that way. I see why he keeps playing or why he's doing it. He's a
Yeah.
player who loves the game.
Yeah.
He's like Ovechkin, right? Like as much as people
Right.
hate on the Russians, and everything, they play because they like to play.
Yeah. They're
And
like the European Canadians.
exactly, so
Yeah.
they play. So I see why he's playing.
Yeah.
Um, do I think it's sad that because I think to a degree he feels he has to keep playing because
Yeah.
if he doesn't, then the league folds and these young kids
Yeah.
and players, they don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
But
So
you
yeah.
know,
So
when do you call it quits? You're gonna, he's
yeah.
gonna snap his ankles, legs, break
Dude,
his
he's gonna
friggin' neck
yeah,
before
he's gonna have a heart attack.
Well, yeah,
Oh
exactly. Like
yeah.
I think to a degree he's just gotta say, it is what it is. I can't do this
Enjoy
forever.
life. Enjoy life. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, he's going to be 60 by the time he finally
Hey,
says, "Okay, that's it, I'm done."
hey, I used to work with a guy that was 70 that still worked at my work. So it's like these guys, some of the Europeans, they just like working. So
Mm.
maybe he just wants to
That's what
work,
I'm
and
saying.
that
Maybe
makes sense.
if he has the pride in it, he likes it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
he's still, you don't want to see anything happen to it either.
yeah. Oh,
You don't want
especially
to see
like
him be a
all,
potato.
all it takes is some young hotshot that says, "I'm going to take this guy and shut him up."
Yeah,
You know,
oh,
I'm
I'm
the
going
guy
to be the
that
guy
ends his
who
career.
hit,
Yeah,
Yarmer Yager, and you freaking
yeah,
paralyzed the guy.
yeah. And that's what you don't want to see. Yeah, exactly. I get that point. But speaking of bad people in sports, did you see the stuff that Jordan Subban went through recently?
No,
Uh,
what
the
happened?
guy, the guy was trying to fight him, and he made monkey chants at him. Oh, and like so, all the teams like the Washington Capitals and everybody they stood behind Jordan Subban, obviously.
Oh, yes, there's actually now. I remember hearing about this. Yes,
Yeah,
he got the 30-game suspension, right?
yeah, and that guy. Do you think that guy? I don't know the guy that did it, and I don't really care about the guy that did this racist chants. But do you think he should just be kicked out and not be allowed back, or like that? You're like 20, man, and you're still doing this shit. Like, come on. Or do you think there's room for mistakes? Like this mistake is kind of like on ice in front of people. Like it's like, dude, it's crazy
It's
to me.
hard to. It's honestly for me. It's hard to say,
Yeah,
only because
I never seen the situation either, so I can't really say.
value, like personal beliefs and values. Absolutely, guys should be out of the league for that kind of crap.
Yeah,
But how many times do we see it in the professional leagues? Like I know soccer is huge in doing it. Like I know there's tons of
yeah,
players who do it because it's so like. Let's take the Arsenal team for like how many minority players do we have like of
yeah,
African, like you said last week, African descent or background, we got like 10, 11 of them, and when we lost last year, like what it was Zaka, he got how many racist
yeah,
comments thrown at him,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's
So,
crazy.
but
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying. You're on a
this isn't.
professional league,
No, but
so
no, this isn't from. This isn't from the chantings from the crowd. This is from a real player on the
no,
ice.
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's the players do it as well. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So
Like
that's why I'm saying it's hard to.
so
It's
do you look at this kind of stuff like this, like a kind of like a comment like "Go fuck your mother. I hope your mother dies." Like, is it the same
like
kind of
it's the
thing?
Dane,
No, like to yeah, no, like to get under your skin. Like in sports, you get into their head, so you try to
right?
get
Yeah,
yeah. So that's why I think like some of this stuff overshadows the
I
sportsman
just
like you know
I
the
know,
sports
it's
mentality.
kind of it's a gray wash area for me because people do it to get inside their
Yeah,
heads,
but
but like I
you
said,
shouldn't have to.
how do you penalize a kid and kick him or bar him from the league, but you got the professionals like let's just say
Or
somebody's
or you got Marty McSorley or what
exactly. That's where I was going with that.
Juicy,
Like, look
yeah,
at Marty McSorley goes in and
yeah, smashing people.
tomahawks, down over Shear's head in because he's black.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, let's say he walks away without no suspension. So what message or how do you justify throwing a young kid out, but 20, 30 year
I'm
old
with
guy
you.
can do it?
I'm with you. If you can fight on the ice, words are words too. But it's just like some things are just bad for kids. It's like, but then again, being Todd Bertuzzi, that was bad for being a role
Yeah.
model. Like Todd Bertuzzi wasn't just a Marty McSorley. Todd Bertuzzi was a goal scorer and a
Well,
big
yeah.
name.
Well, what was that? He friggin' went taking the guy, chasing him down the ice and slamming his head off the ice. Punching him.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing because the guy became a marshmallow basically after that, but I still can relive that moment in my head.
But
And when I saw it, I didn't know what but look at it. So like we were kids, teens watching that when that happened, and what message did that send? Like all right, that's hockey.
Yeah.
Let's go chase people down and let's slam their heads off the ice.
So that's the better question. Then it's like, what's the difference between a dirty play and dirty words?
One hurts more than the other.
That's what I mean. I think dirty plays get forgiven more easier because of the society we live in, and that's the politics part that sucked. Because it's like when you say stuff to get in your opponent's head, you say anything. You don't mean those things. You just say it to get in their head. It's called. That's how you do it. That's the art of war. And it's like it doesn't mean that you believe in what you're saying. It's just like I'm a dirty player, and that's my role on the team.
Yeah, exactly. Some people got to just for 60 minutes act like a total barbarian.
Yeah. And that's it. Like you think, look at Wade Belak. Wade Belak killed himself because all he was good for was fighting people, and he couldn't believe it, and it did a lot of damage to his head, like mentally. Yeah. So it's like, but he played that character his whole life. So it's like he wasn't that guy, obviously, because it didn't work out for him. But
no, exactly. But like that was the thing. Like that year, like how many of the enforcers, off themselves, unfortunately, But every one of them had that role or had that mindset of, I've got to be this massive dickhead for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Who cares what I says? Who cares what I do? I got to be the nastiest person out there.
And that's sports, man. That's sports. That's war.
Yeah. And some teams pay for that. They want you to do that.
And that's what I think is ruining sports is the whole, like, remember back in the day when you weren't like a Montreal Canadiens player does not shake hands with a Maple Leafs player after.
No, exactly. No, no.
And now it's just like, hey, buddy, what are you doing after the game? It's
like, now everybody let's go get a drink or this, that. Yeah, absolutely. But back then, you didn't shake hands with your most hated rival. You didn't talk to them. You didn't even look at them.
Dude, I remember when this guy Lee Dixon came to the Arsenal back in 2000s, early 2000s. One of the players on Arsenal grabbed him in the face when he played his old team. He's like, if we lose, it's because of you, and you're getting beat up after the game. And then Lee Dixon had the best game of his life. But like, so let's move on from that. That's a touchy subject. Sorry, it's just
that's fine.
Yeah. And so what Canadian team would suit McDavid better? What team would you rather see him on? That's Canadian team because he obviously likes to be in Canada.
I kind of weighed this morning. I looked at all the Canadian other teams, all their lineups, where they were in the playoffs, standings and so forth and blah, blah, blah. I think the most beneficial team he'd be suited for would be Vancouver. Yeah, I think they're missing after like their top line of Hoglander and Peterson and, Bosner and all that. I think once they move in, they have nothing after that.
How many stars do they need, Vancouver, and they still can't get it together?
Well, but that's the thing, right? Like that's what I mean. Like I don't think since like the Sedins were there, they've been able to replicate that success when Marcus Naslund was there with them, right?
And Marcus Naslund was a G. I love that guy.
Like that was the last time they were making the playoffs almost yearly because I know, it was. I'm pretty sure it was either Vancouver or Edmonton every year. It was Edmonton. Every year I knew who my stars were playing.
Yeah,
it was either Vancouver or Edmonton.
So me as a Leaf fan, obviously I'd like to see him on the Leafs, but that's not realistic.
See, I couldn't put him on the Leafs. I looked at your roster. I don't see where you fit him on there.
Oh, dude, if you take the money into consideration, there's no chance in hell he could go there. Unless you get rid
but take away money. Just saying money's not an aspect of it. I still don't see where you put him on there with the roster you have.
Because, like, what are we going to do? Put Matthews on the second line? Or?
That's what I mean. Like, when you have a star-based line already. If you add a superstar, who do you bump down to what line?
Yeah, none of them. Yeah, because you got Matthews, you got Tavares, and then you'd have McDavid. Like that's not happening.
Well,
Yeah,
that's why I looked. I mean, the only other team I really thought was maybe Ottawa, but you know what? If we're just going to keep them in their natural positions, you have your Josh Norris as your starting center. Then your second line is the German Tim Stützle.
Yeah.
What, you're going to move one of those two down to the third line, or even if you move them down to the winger, how much of a fit are they going to be out there? Like, so you can't put them in. You can't put them to Ottawa unless you trade one of those two.
I think he'd be best because it's the capital of Canada, and he'd be like Captain Capital. It'd be kind of cool, and he looks kind of. I've seen the pictures of him in the Ottawa jersey. He looks kind of cool in it. That's my pick, Ottawa. I think Ottawa. It'd be nice to see Ottawa do something, I guess.
Well, that's the thing. They haven't done much of anything, but I mean, definitely, obviously, just for the hell of it, just to piss people off, he'd go to Calgary, but really, you want to do the rivalry thing.
Yeah. And Montreal, I don't think.
See, if it wasn't Vancouver, I had him going Montreal. You have like your second line center is Christian Dvorak.
I don't think he's a French kind of guy like that. I don't think. Yeah.
Have the cowboy from out west come to French.
I don't think he supports that kind of. I think he'd either go to.
He doesn't support it, or they don't support him.
I think in his eyes, he'd rather go to a big market team like Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto or Ottawa, like you said, would be where he'd probably end up.
Yeah, or like
Vancouver.
Vancouver, because it's nice out there too.
Yeah,
and yeah. So, well, this one kind of screws it up, but we'll just go with Leafs Stars. What do you think? Buyers, sellers? Who's coming?
Oh no, where was I with this? Actually, I was looking forward to this one today. I'm gonna say I'll jump in with all three. I'm gonna say the Avs are gonna stay put. I don't see them doing much. I don't think they really need to do much. Fink would know more than anybody on where they really stand, like roster wise. But last I spoke to him with it in regards to it and watching it a bit, he seems to think it's the goalie that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
I really don't see anything wrong with that team right now.
Hold on. So we're talking about what we think needs to be addressed, or what do you think that's actually going to happen? I don't think Leafs or Avs are going to have any action. I just don't see it.
That's what I mean. I think that's what I'm going with. I don't think Colorado's going to do much because I don't think they need to do much. As far as Dallas goes, I think we have to definitely get rid of Klingberg. He doesn't want to be there. He's just going to make it miserable in that locker room, and it goes into the mentality of, hey, we got a pissed off player who doesn't. Yes, he's a good player, but he doesn't want to be here. So I think we have to sell him, and he's probably one of the top 3 trade targets. So I think at the deadline he will be gone somewhere. So I think Dallas will be a seller. But that being said, because the deadline's not till March, right? So I think it also, where are these 3 teams come that time? Like Colorado, I said, will probably still be at the top. But for your team and my team, are we in a playoff spot? Or are we not going to be in a playoff spot? For the Leafs?
I think my team will be in a playoff spot.
See, I don't know where your team is. I think you got to get rid of I think you're going to lose McDermott.
Yeah, I think they should get rid of Marner, but that's just me. I think
Marner's starting to get the points again.
That's okay. He's a regular season guy. That's cool. But we need a guy besides Matthews to score in the postseason.
Where was Matthews in your last season with the playoffs? When Tavares went down, and Matthews did nothing.
No, but that doesn't matter because Tavares was never there before. Tavares was only there for a year in the playoffs, 2 years in the playoffs. Matthews is the only guy that scores in the playoffs. I think Tavares was weak as hell. I think Tavares should be gone, but I think Tavares is like a waste of space too for the cap space. I think a guy like, if McDavid wants to move, get rid of Marner and Nylander for him. See ya. Yeah.
I can see that.
And I think that's a, because I think if the boys don't work this year, Like I don't mean like win it all. Okay,
Right.
that's delusional.
Just
I think,
make a run maybe for it.
yeah, I think if they don't do something, you got to split the band up, man. It's not working out.
Well, who's the forward that you've got who's starting to come on now? Well, he's Russian, obviously.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I was gonna say Ilya something. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. From what I've seen, he could easily replace a Nylander or Marner production. He's not going to be a 56-point getter a season, but I think he'd be enough that you wouldn't be missing too much offense either.
And that's what I'm saying about the Leafs staying put because they don't have enough wiggle room to do anything.
Cap-wise, no, you're going to lose. Come next, like the offseason, you're going to lose at least 2 to 3 players to get you points right now. So you might as well get rid of them and get something in return, whether it be prospects, a rental player, or draft picks.
But the thing is, I think they're doing so. This is what the problem is with these guys. So they have 5 games at hand, and they just have to win 2 of them, three games, right? 2 or 3 games, and they're in second place, and they're pretty good spot, right? So they look at it like, it's a success no matter what,
Right.
So it's like, but that to me as a fan, I don't give a shit about the regular season, And then I want you guys to do something. We know that we can come first or second in the division. That's okay. But I want to do something in the playoffs. I want to be like when we played Montreal, and I was like, oh shit, we were up 3-1 in the playoffs against Montreal. I was like, oh, we got an easy way to the Stanley Cup Finals, right? And all of a sudden, we get beat 4 games to nothing or whatever, 3 games to nothing. I was like, well damn, yeah.
Right.
That's just me. I don't know. I think that I don't think the Leafs are doing anything, to be honest. I think they're too comfy. So do you think the Canadian team should have more NHL teams? Do you think
Nope.
No?
Nope.
You don't
Too
think
many logistics.
Yeah. How about this? What retired NHL player? I moved it to NHL player. Would you like to see come back and dominate the sport? Or you can pick athlete, but I want to pick NHL player.
Well, I'll give you both. NHL retired, or now it can be retired for any reason, injuries.
Yeah, retired.
Age, blah,
blah. No, we got the next one's injuries, so no.
Okay, so retired wise.
Yeah.
Al MacInnis.
Al MacInnis. See, me as a Leaf fan, I think if Sundin came back to the Leafs now, oh shit, we're doing some damage, How stacked do I want my team though?
You pick him over Domi? I think you need Domi.
No, I think we need Sundin, man. Sundin would captain these guys to a championship. Imagine we had Sundin, all these guys that are on the team, it'd be a totally different team. But we have weak mind players, and it's just like guys that worry about hanging out with Justin Bieber instead. So Sundin would be like, "Who the hell is Justin Bieber?" We're here to win. Yeah, and that's the difference. And I think it's, but as a retired player overall, obviously I'd like to see Gretzky and Ovechkin go head to head. That'd be crazy.
See, overall, I know you said NHL, but I'm going to any sport, and I told you all week long, if anybody could come back, it'd be Hope Solo.
Hope Solo, damn, he's going women's sport. I like that. Diversity is the key. That's cool, man. Hope Solo's a rocket too. I wouldn't mind seeing her come back to. I'd like to see her come to the NHL.
her temper and everything, absolutely. She's fitting right with those guys.
She's awesome, though. She's awesome, but
yeah, you can't take away from what she did.
Yeah, she's amazing. The women, sometimes the women don't get enough credit for the stuff that they pull out.
No, absolutely not. World Cup champion and 2-time Olympic goaltender. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she's perfect. Yeah. How about Kate? What athlete would have dominated their sport if it wasn't for injuries?
Injury-wise, NFL will go, and Dante Culpepper. I think Dante Culpepper or Steve Young.
Dante Culpepper, damn, man. Steve Young too. That's crazy because
I think there are two main injuries. Cole Peppers was blowing his knee out. I think been
Steve Young had the Cheesecake Factory injury. he went, yeah, he went bankrupt with cheesecakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
But with him, he basically was the Eric Lindros of NFL. Like they said, Steve Young, 7 concussions. That they know it.
See,
they think it's more, but like noodle for brain. But if he did not have the concussions, or if he got protected like they protect Tom Brady now, absolutely, I think he'd be the one holding all those records.
That's crazy though, eh? Because he remember how dominant he was and how big of a hype he had around. I remember that guy, man. Everybody
absolutely, he was one of the greatest ones, but not many people put him up there because of how short his career was because of the injuries.
Yeah,
crazy. He won Super Bowls. He had Jerry Rice, and he won the Super Bowls he went to, like, and dominated the Super Bowls he was in. But could have been so much better had he not been injury prone.
Yeah, mine would be Pavel Bure. I think the guy he went out with a knee injury, and he was scoring 50 goals a season before that, and he scored like how many goals? I think he would have beat Gretzky's record easily if he would have stayed healthy. And
I had him as my NHL pick. It is. Yeah, I went Pavel Bure.
Yeah, Pavel Bure is my NHL guy, and I think
even throw his brother up there, Valerie. I bet you Valerie would have been just as good as his brother.
Yeah. And the other guy, how about what's the guy from Montreal? Saku Koivu?
Saku Koivu, yep. Yeah, long career, but it was a lot of injuries in it, yeah.
And he had cancer too.
Yep.
He played with cancer.
Yeah, he missed a few seasons because he had the chemo.
So I got a basketball one too. I don't know if you know this guy, Williams. He played for Duke University, and he went to Chicago Bulls. He got in the motorcycle accident.
Yep.
And he was like the best, and he got in the motorcycle accident. He just never recovered.
Well, that's the same with from Ohio State when he got drafted, Greg Oden, right?
Yeah, same.
And his body grew faster than his body let him. He ended up having a leg and ankle injuries all the time, or he just. Everyone says he's a bust, and I had this debate, about a week or so ago with one of my buddies, because I said he is a bust, and his argument was you can't really call him that because it's not his fault. He didn't grow into his body, or he grew faster than his body let him.
Yeah, and that's a shame. I wonder why that didn't happen to Shaq. That's crazy. And so I guess we'll move on to like some fun ones. I guess. What's your favorite and worst sports logo?
Oh.
I'll tell you my favorite one.
Probably, you go with one first. All right, go ahead.
I like the Raiders like the Oakland Raiders, and I like the
Las Vegas.
The Falcons. Like the Falcons Hawk. I think the Falcons Falcon. I think that's those are the two best logos in all sports. And for EPL, I think Arsenal's is one of my favorite. Like not just because I'm Arsenal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's the best. It's the
Arsenal's
best
got probably I'll give you that. Arsenal's probably got the best jersey for the EPL.
Yeah. And for hockey, definitely the worst of all the sports. I think Montreal Canadiens, the toilet bowl seat or whatever that is, that's terrible. I just think it's bad. It's just not good. And I'm not saying the Leafs are any better. The Leafs just the Leaf, but being a Canadian, you can't hate on the Maple Leaf.
See, and we're very close in our views because for NFL, I'll go favorite logo. I got to go Buffalo Bills. I think it's very. It's Buffalo, right? And they could have made it so cheesy. Like you remember the Buffalo Sabres logo, right? Like that. So they kind of took that aspect of it, but they updated or modernized it. I love the colors too. Like I love that blue and red and white. American, blah blah blah. Worst, I gotta say Cleveland Browns. There's nothing appealing to me about a fucking orange helmet.
Oh yeah, that's
just an orange helmet. Like that is the laziest logo I could have seen. Is somebody just made a helmet and what color do we paint it?
The LA Rams is pretty awful too.
Yeah, just the yellow swirl with the blue helmet. Exactly. Sorry, it's white now. It's a white swirl now, so they've updated it to white.
Saying that the simplicity though, like the Cowboys and the Stars, those kind of are clean.
Yeah,
Like the
like
Stars.
that's. I mean, I know that the Stars tried to update by having like that neon green look now, and I love it. Like I love their lights out
Yeah,
jersey, because
yeah.
it.
I have that one. I have a Tyler Seguin one.
Yeah, exactly. Like that idea, I love. That was a great idea. But yeah, the actual logo we are looking at based off the logo and not the
Yeah,
color. Yeah, it's not the most creative
yeah,
mindset of it. NHL wise, see, I was opposite. Best one, I gotta give you the Leafs. Like
yeah,
you said, and I don't know if it's being a Canadian thing or not, but yeah, you think
yeah.
Canadian, you think hockey, and the Leafs absolutely
Yeah,
make that what it
the
is.
Leafs, the Leafs jerseys are. I think the Leafs are the Kings are my favorite. Like not the new Kings, the old Kings, the Gretzky Kings.
Right,
And those are like the two jerseys. Like the Leafs, you can't like they always look nice. The jerseys, like they
exactly.
look,
And
yeah.
um,
But it sounds like I'm too biased because I said Montreal, so I felt guilty. But Montreal is the worst. Like
right.
you know, yeah,
And see, for worst, I still stayed Canadian based for the worst, but I went Vancouver. I don't know what that is on top of the sea. I don't know if it's a whale or what the hell it is, a shark. But I
I get
just
some.
think it's like CH with some type of mammal on it. And I'm like, this is just bad. This is bad. It's like it didn't know what I wanted it to be.
This is confused.
Yeah, I look at it, I'm like, what is this?
The Calgary Flames is actually pretty cool to see. It's pretty cool,
The
I
sea with
guess.
the flame coming out of it, like the fire flame. Yeah, I can give you that, but it's not a favorite of mine. But I see why you'd like it.
But the Oilers is awful. I think the Oilers. They, I don't know. I think the
Just the
whole
kind
circle.
of oil drip.
Yeah. It's like you know.
Well, it's
But
no when they had what was it before that? They had the gear with the oil drip, right?
yeah, and that was actually worse than just.
Than
I
what they
think
have
they're
now,
both.
exactly.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I'm like, okay, are they now metallic or
yeah,
bio, metric? Or like, what's going on here?
yeah. And it's like the Canadian teams need to. Like I don't think the Leafs should ever change their. I think it's too
No, and
iconic.
they probably won't.
How about because like you know how like the Raptors changed it so many times.
Right.
Um, how about this? We'll move on to a favorite sports movie.
Favorite sports movie, eh? I've got a few out there. You and me kind of touched base on that just earlier this morning. Um, I think Varsity Blues has to be up there for any young guy.
That was the best Twitter dance, the Twitter dance or whatever.
I,
Dance
I
on
mean,
there.
I mean, I mean, any guy who always dreamed of the whipped cream bikini scene, it was right there, right? But
Yeah.
no, I thought it was just great. It really brought out like what American football culture was like. What everyone as soon as you can walk down there, you're throwing a football. But yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
Friggin' what's his face from who ended up going on to star in Dawson Creek and all that.
Yeah, James Vanderbeek or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and John Mox,
Yeah, John Fox. Yeah.
um,
What's the one with Jamie
Billy
Foxx? Remember
Bob.
that one?
Was that?
What's the movie with Jamie Foxx? Remember the Titans, I think.
No,
Stephen
Jamie
Willie
Foxx was
Beeman. Stephen Willie Beeman. Remember?
yeah,
Yeah.
that was the jersey I was going to get tonight too. So because
Yeah.
they had a Wheeler Beeman. Oh, what was that? Oh, yeah,
That's a
because it
good
had
one.
Al Pacino in it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, remember the Titans? No, not remember the Titans.
No, I remember the Titans had.
Oh, dude, We Are March. Football has the best movies, huh?
Well, yeah, you have like you think of them. You have Rudy.
Yeah.
Like you said, Any Given
We Are
Sunday.
March. Blindsided. You have all the movies, man. All the
Like
movies.
that seems to be the sport that does them. Like my favorite football movie, Kevin Costner with Draft Day. Like I loved that movie.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I just watched that. Or well, Angels in the Outfield was pretty good back in the day.
Angels in the Outfield was good. Do you remember? It was a Disney one, or bought out by Disney. Do you remember The Rookie, based off the kid who
Yeah.
screwed up his arm and pitched for the Cubs or whatever?
Yeah. Or how about this one, Tony Danza, the field goal garbage man or something.
Yeah,
Field goal. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
that's pretty crazy. Yeah. But
Yeah,
obviously, you can't talk best movies without mentioning The Sandlot or Mighty Ducks.
I was never big on the Sandlot.
No?
Dream Machine, all those. No, I was not. I was not big on them.
How about this movie, The Mean Machine? That's the one where
The Mean Machine. Yeah, longest
yeah,
yard and all that. Yep, yep.
yeah. No, Mean Machine was Jason Statham. He's
Oh,
the
Jason said
psycho.
yes, yes, I am.
Yeah, the soccer goalie. That was a
Yep,
pretty good one. Yeah, or Green Street Hooligans.
yep.
That's not really a sports movie. That's like a hooligan movie where they fight. But yeah, there's a lot of different ones, I
There's
guess.
been some good ones. I mean, if I had to steer away from football, because like I said, that's basically the movies I've watched.
Right.
Think if I picked any other sport, probably Miracle on Ice. I like it.
Goons is pretty good.
Goon was a good one for hockey. If we were looking hockey base, yeah, I loved Goon. I wasn't big on the sequel to it, but
Dude, I think Mighty Ducks is growing up, man. Yeah, that was like the best hockey. Like nobody can. Like
you put that over Slapshot though.
Yeah, me, I would. I think that was iconic. Like, dude, everybody thought Anaheim Mighty Ducks was named after the
yeah. He ended up, running with that.
Yeah, and that's basically everybody thought that for a while. It's like, oh, they made a real team off the movie. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like no, they didn't.
I think they already had that in the works. but what do you think? The most iconic sports memorabilia piece is like a boxing glove, like a baseball bat, a hockey.
I was trying to figure out what this question was going to go to, but the ultimate sports. Now, are you talking about like for an athlete to give like say like a museum, or if you were to get it as a fan, or how are you looking at that?
If you could have what do you think the most iconic?
I think it depends on your sport, because I don't think I think every sport has its most iconic or most like its biggest piece. Like I think for like football, obviously you would want to get a jersey or a pair of gloves or something like that. But like you said, if you look at boxing,
you think in football a jersey and a thing are over a helmet in a football?
For me personally, I would love let's say if I could get any piece of equipment or anything from football, I would love a jersey no matter what.
I'd love the jock.
But I mean, I remember, right? But I don't know. I'm sure you've seen the video of the kid with it's been on YouTube and TikTok and everything. It's a old video out there. But remember Jordan Tutu? You seen the video of him giving that young kid the hockey stick?
Yeah,
that kid's face lit up. So I think each sport has its own specific memorabilia piece.
I honestly think the baseball is the most iconic.
Think so?
And I don't like baseball. I don't like baseball, but I think like a Babe Ruth baseball is just like the ultimate. I don't know why. Maybe because America drills it in your head.
If we're talking any sport, that would symbolize sports memorabilia, then yeah, I agree with you on that. Either a glove or a baseball, yeah.
It's just because it's like, I don't know why.
It's America's pastime, like they say, right?
A bat's cool too. Like imagine getting like I don't know.
Like, well, yeah, a home run. You get the game-winning home run or something like that, right?
Like soccer, it's just either a ball or a jersey, or
every sport. It seems to be the same thing: jersey, hockey, jersey, or stick, or a puck to the face.
But what do you think? If you go to a sporting event, is there something you always have to get, like a favorite food, or is it? Or you just don't.
Yeah, favorite food. I kind of looked at it. I ran with it with two ways with this. I did one if I was at home watching a sporting event, or if I was personally at one. If I'm at home, it's always got to be wings and pizza.
Wings and pizza,
100%. If it's at the event, obviously you got to get a beer, no matter what, whether it be $10, $12, $13. I don't care. I'm buying a beer.
You gotta get that street meat, bro. You gotta hit that.
That's after the game. We're talking at the game, though. I've been to a few Jays games. I've been to a few Bills game. I say the best sporting event meat or food I've ever had was at a Bills game, and it was a friggin' beef brisket sandwich.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's the best. But I'm saying to me, I was thinking more iconic. Like you got to have that ballpark Frank in your hand.
What do you want me to say? You want to get a pretzel with a little cheese sauce and some nachos and cheese, popcorn?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, be double. Give me any sausage, you know.
Exactly. I will give you that. Nothing beats a Jays game coming out, our Leafs game coming out at like midnight and getting straight meat. The smell that runs
Yeah,
down there. Oh,
dude.
absolutely.
And a guy that's been around to different sporting events in different countries, I'll tell you, there's nothing like a sausage from the Jays or the Leafs.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where
They
everyone runs out to after the game. They're running right to that street cart.
yeah, and those sausages are second to none. I'll tell you that, man.
Absolutely. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's street meat. That's disgusting." And then you have it, and then every time you go to the event, you got to get it.
Yeah, you gotta get it. It's like most of the day. That's what I was going for. Like the sausage and the beer, 100%. That's like the most iconic, like everywhere. I think.
Mind you, after you're watching your team blow leads, anything is probably good.
Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah,
but at
John,
home,
your sorrows and something. Just give me some street meat and some beer.
dude, I'm at home though. I'm with you with the pizza and wings. That's an easy.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Any sports weekend, especially with football playoffs and hockey pretty much starting up, it's got to be an easy pizza and wings thing.
Yeah. So did you I know you don't care about UFC, but UFC at 270 was on. I didn't catch it. I just thought we'd bring it up. Francis
I don't
Ngannou.
think caught it last night. I watch it here and there. Um, as far as anything crazier happening, I seem to follow it more when it was like when what's his face, St. Pierre was fighting and everything like that. That's when I enjoyed it. Now it seems to be almost every UFC fight. It's now gone to people are now watching to see who can have the worst, traumatic injury, who can break their leg in 6 spots.
Yeah. To me, I think it's lost. It's like
it's not what it was before. It's lost its wow factor.
Yeah, it's just like wrestling, Like remember how cool wrestling was when you had DX and everybody.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now it's just like I couldn't even tell you anybody. Like,
well, honestly, no, exactly right, because the Ronda Rouseys and the Conor McGregors and all of them, they're out of it.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's hard. It's hard to. I don't know. I just think this.
It's just it's just pay me to punch somebody in the face for 15 seconds.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you get the big fights. Like think about this in combat sports. Jake Paul is the best name in fights.
Well, that's what I mean. Like you get these people when who are celebrities or B-listers, and they're in these sports, and you're like, why? Like for what point is this?
It's like this. You don't see like Michael Jackson trying to come to the Leafs and join the Leafs. You know what I mean? It's like imagine Michael Jackson start skating for the Leafs. It's like that doesn't. It's impossible.
No,
that's why it makes me think that the UFC is fake because of all these fake fights.
Right. Exactly.
It's weird, man. But so trade deadline. I know you want to touch on this. Is there any big trades that are going to happen? It's far away, kind of, but
yeah, we'll touch on this for a bit. Yeah, let me just see. I got love.
This is the last topic I have.
What's that?
This is the last topic I have.
I was going to say, I got 11% here, so we'll wrap this up soon. But yeah, I want to touch base on this a bit. I mean, for the trade deadline, I think it's going to be a little bit busier than what people are going to think it would be. I'm hearing basically that the biggest target is going to be the Arizona defenseman Jacob Churchin, and he could go to anyone from from Florida to the Rangers to the Ducks to Boston. Like he seems to be the big fish out there this year. And then I see, what are teams willing to part with him for? Because they're asking for a lot. Like they're asking for a young player, a prospect, and 3 picks. And I'm like, this guy's not worth it, really, in my eyes. Yeah. And then you got teams, like I said earlier, like Edmonton, who needs goalies. And I've heard people as much as going with Marc-Andre Fleury, leaving Chicago to go there to get one more chance to run for a cup, going to Dallas and getting Holtby or Ante Kubanin, or even going to the Islanders and getting Varlamov, right? Just to kind of help them get that push.
Varlamov led in some shaky ones, huh? Yeah, against
the Leafs. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And they still have the youngster in Sorokin, so they may want to see what they have there. But they very well may say, no, let's see if we can get a push or not. So it's kind of wait out and see where, like I said, it's still 2 months away. So it might be too early to speculate because
That's the funny
anything
thing
can
with
happen in
goalies.
8 weeks.
That's the funny thing with goalies is like they just make a move and they're good again.
Exactly, right? Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
Like Fleury could move. Let's just say hypothetically he went to Toronto, right? He could either be lights out or it could be the worst thing he chose to do.
yeah, and it's like that's a goalie's life, man. It's like just look at Jack Campbell, like you said. The guy was everybody's like, why the hell are the Leafs getting this guy?
Yeah,
And it's like he's so bad, and then all of a sudden he's like one of the best goalies in the league, and you're like, and just like you said, where the hell did this come from?
right.
And
Exactly. Right.
it doesn't make sense. The goalies they're odd, but like you said, like everybody says, to be a goalie in the NHL, you gotta be like crazy. Like they're all
Oh,
kind of crazy.
absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, the trade deadline, I haven't really heard much about it. I mean,
It's still. I think honestly, it's too far away for too much to be taken into consideration. I mean, when we do this, weekly or as we get closer to it, I think we're going to start to hear more rumblings with it. Because it's just like I said, nobody knows where they're standing right now. Are we making the playoffs? Or are we not? Like we looked at the standings, and so many teams could still make a push. 10 points is only 5 games out.
Yeah, damn.
So I think if we visit this, say in 2-3 weeks, and when we start to see, okay, well, let's just say Detroit, if they haven't won a game since this week, and they're now falling 16, 17 points out of a spot, we know they're not going to make it. They might sell, right?
Yeah, that's it, man. And I don't know, man. It's like I don't see a lot of the big teams. I can't see a lot of the big teams doing anything.
No, exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's about all we have. We did 2 hours and 31 minutes today, man.
I'm noticing that. I will bring up one quick question. I wanted to get your view on it before we head out of here tonight. Djokovic, what is your thoughts on him getting deported from the Australian Open because he wouldn't get the COVID vaccine? I know we don't want to do politics too much and all that, but I just want to know, he's saying it's a step on his freedom and blah, blah, blah. What do you think?
I think, dude, you get paid a lot of money and you already know the rules that you got to kind of comply and be professional. And
that's what I mean. So like they're saying the French Open, he very well may get the same result. You think they're making the right call on not letting him play?
Well, it's only his career that he's ruining. It's not like they're ruining the French Open, or the Australian Open. It's not like they're going to be like, oh man, remember those 1 years we could have had Djokovic play? It's like the more he doesn't comply, the more people will forget about him being great.
He'll start, instead of being seen as the great player he is, he's the guy who went get the vaccine.
Yeah, and it's like he's the guy that ruined his own career. You see it a lot in all sports where people ruin their own careers, and he could be the next one. And it's sad to say because he could be like better than Roger Federer and Nadal, but he's missing out. So I don't know. I think it's a bad play on his part because it's only himself that he's ruining. But
I agree with you on that. I think you just need to just basically look at the NHL, right? Like they told them, you can't play in Canada or vice versa. You're not vaccinated. And you know what? I think there's only one player, Tyler Bertuzzi, who refuses to get it. So anytime Detroit plays a Canadian team, he doesn't travel with them.
Just like Colin Kaepernick, I heard they offered him a spot back in the NFL and he refused it.
Yeah, because he wants to stand by his views, and all right, good on you. You believe in what you believe, but don't also. Pardon my language, but don't bitch that you don't get a shot because you don't want to play by the rules.
Yeah, and then that's the thing is you can't do it both ways. You can't get a chance to come back and be like, no, I still stand by my rules. And they're like, okay, we're not talking about that anymore. Do you want a spot on the team? No,
yeah, okay. Exactly. It's like why what is it, like we said briefly last week with the politics thing, right? It was like, do they have a spot? And we all, between you, me, and Pink, we all agreed, no, it doesn't. Because you know what? Do you even know why you're doing this anymore?
Yeah, it's just like, are you doing it just to get publicity or what? Like, what
Or
are
are
you
you
doing?
actually doing it because you still stand by it? But I thought about it. You like your comment. You said, you turn on the game and you see a person kneeling down. You're like, they're still doing this, or what's he doing
Yeah,
that for? Because it's just lost its luster, and it's going to happen with the vaccine. Crap too. It's going to be okay. You're still boycotting the vaccine, and by the time you realize this, COVID's going to be hopefully done or it will be done, and it's going to be like that was 4 years ago, and you're still going on about it.
exactly. That's what I mean. It all loses its power. And it's just like, and then you don't even realize when it fades out. You're like, oh shit, it's not here anymore. Yeah,
Right.
and then
Exactly.
that's what happens. But I don't know, man. That's it, eh, for today.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty good. If Fink was here, we would have went like 6 hours, man. But hey,
Absolutely.
all right, man.
All
That's it.
right.
That was a good show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is done.